Yeah, I guess I started in just a little bit. Waiting on Chris. I'm seeing the chat out there, and it looks like the Knicks did not go their way, so Chris might be running a little bit. Oh, okay, almost got it. A second tracking. I guess until we get completely started. Let me turn that music off. I don't know how certain people do it. It's a little distracting. But I was just testing it out. It's one of the features that they have here on StreamYard. But hey, how is everybody doing? Here for the Sunday stream. Yeah, Chris H says Sunday is a good day to stream. Chamonix says yay Sunday stream. So I don't know. In the meantime, we might test out some Sunday streams here and there, or definitely if anything goes on Saturday night, we will definitely do a Sunday stream makeup. But I don't know. Y'all let me know if y'all are liking Sundays a little bit better, and we'll see what we can work out. Um, and I guess I'll go through the chats real quick till we get started. Oh, let me switch over to Rockfin, make sure that's up. Get myself a little water first before I get running my mouth too much. But yeah, just waiting on Chris to get in here. So I see Warren says, hey y'all, any updates on the Iranian press? I do not have any updates yet. I hope that's not Sobe. Yeah. Do not have any updates, but I definitely will be keeping my eye on it and see if we can get any information on that. Lady Alex says if the Iranians have proof positive the president was murdered by the West, of course, watch out world. Definitely. Um and this is I've been one of those people who have always watched out on this Israel-Palestine issue, not after October 7th, but we've been, I mean, you guys can look back for 3 years on the other channel, for almost 5 years. This has been the one subject that I've been dogmatically following because whatever happens in that situation very easily can kick off World War III. And I feel like we're on the cusp of it one way or another. And so just trying to look at the outliers to what's going to lead us there. I'm glad that everybody else is now been covering it, and the situation that's happened in Gaza, which is going to be a big part of the conversation today, is why people have gotten into it. And I'm glad bigger names than us are paying attention and calling out some of the things. I think some people still got a ways to go to get an understanding of everything that's going on, but at least most people are starting to look at this. Chris H says, the political matrix. I sent a copy of documentary about the Bush v. Gore election theft and Telegram. Okay, I'll check that out when I get a chance. Just came back from Hollywood Bowl. Oh yeah, I like going out there. I go out there every now and then. Let's see. Curtis says, "What's up, y'all?" Dingo is in the building also. The topics that we're going to get into outside um of course any news that we might hear as far as the Iranian president, but I want to talk a little bit about Biden and Trump, and I just put it as verses because they do have the debate that will be coming up eventually, and so that is something I want to talk about. Possible things to look for into that debate. Um, even though I don't really put a lot of stock in it, I mean, it is something that's going on in the world, and it is any little thing that they say in there can be impactful or can be illuminating on things going on. So that is something that I do want to watch and talk about a little bit. Is RFK in the debate? I'm not sure if he's in the debate. I would probably assume he might not be. I don't think either one of them would probably want to give him the extra airtime. Because by putting him in debate, it gives him more press to kind of like the same thing which Trump was able to benefit from by getting so much media time from CNN. I look at they don't want to give him extra media time because a big part of being elected is name recognition. If you give him more and more name recognition, granted, he is a Kennedy, that gives you a lot of name recognition. But for people outside of, I guess, the community that most of us are in, they don't really even know that this guy is running for president and what he is about. So I wouldn't expect that they would put him in the debate. um, to be honest, I have zero interest in electoral politics. I don't. We don't either. Um, I just want to cover it because actually, it's not even covering the debate itself. Just some insights on the debate, but it's some things I want to cover that I've noticed with Biden and Trump, which I'll get into when we get to that topic. I do want to cover some of the stuff that's going on with Netanyahu versus Benny Gantz. It is interesting, some of the developments. I do want to talk about the Rafah Pier, and then I got a couple other things. So, anything related to this government is corrupt, illegitimate. Exactly. And since you brought up that topic, I guess I can kind of go lay out. I can kind of go out and lay out a point that I was trying to explain to somebody the other day. I was in Lucy from Blue Moon Red Wines chat, and a gentleman was in there, and he was saying, "Well, apologies, I don't know what uh, what the ID of the person is, so I don't want to just say a gentleman. It could be female, non-binary. I don't know." So the person who I was going back and forth with, they were like, "Well, if I'm pushing this Green Party candidate because they can get 5%, and if they get 5%," and I was asking them, okay, so they get 5%, then what? Well, then that can get them federal funds match. Okay, once they get the federal funds match, then what? Okay, say they get elected. What does that mean? Do you feel like they're going to be? I mean, they're still going to need a Congress to pass the bills and laws that they want to put into play. They still they still got to get those laws past the courts. They still got to get that stuff past donors. So it's still so many waves that even if you could get to that point of getting your preferred candidate into office, there's still a gazillion more hurdles. And that's not even factoring in the miles and miles of hurdles that are already put in place. So I just find like people who think they can go into a completely corrupted, illegitimate system, that it's not like the system was this way and then it got corrupted. The system has always been corrupted. And so you're taking something that was corrupt from its inception and then thinking you can go in and flip that system and then control it to use that system against the very people who are using that system against you. It just never made any sense to me. Um, you're either a fool, ignorant, or delusional if you participate in electoral politics. I'm not as harsh. I think just some of these people are just ill-informed. A lot of people are ill-informed at how this system works, and a lot of people are ill-informed at how a lot of the strings are pulled and who pulls the strings in this system. Um, I hear it. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it, Lady Alex. You do have to be harsh, especially once people get over a certain age. They should know better. But we do got a lot of people who are new to politics who spent their life not paying attention to any of this stuff. And I tend to find that more when I deal with colleagues who are um, and don't beat me up, anybody who falls into this demographic. I find this more when I'm dealing with Gen X and boomers. Boomers are kind of just hardcore steadfast in their own ways, and they bought into a certain amount of trust in this system. So for you to go against that narrative for them, they can't even compute it, and their brain starts to short circuit. Um, Not all, because there are plenty of boomers who knows what's going on, has been knowing what's going on, and the reason why many of us know what's going on. But the Gen Xers, many of them have kind of disappointed me the most. Oh, there my guy is. Um, and the reason why I'll say some of the Gen Xers have disappointed me the most is because um many of them spent so much time just not caring and not having to care about the system, and then allow this shit to get as bad as it is, and then now they want to get in and try to tell everybody what's going on. But speaking of what's going on, how are you doing over there? Are you okay? Uh, are you over there playing Tony Braxton "Unbreak My Heart" right now? What's going on?
Look, I think next year actually has some. When a lot of times Knicks fans say next year, it has no legitimate claim. For
Yeah.
the first time in a long time, when I say next year, there actually is some merit to that. So
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to next year. Jalen Brunson. He broke his hand. He fractured his thumb in the game.
I didn't know
That
that.
the Knicks, like, yeah, in
Oh
the
yeah,
fourth
your
quarter.
main go-to.
Yeah, he fractured his thumb at the end of the game. So I'm not at the end, but in the third quarter, I believe. So he was done. So that
Hmm.
pretty much just put a stamp on the next season. We had like seven at the end, six guys out. You can't win like that.
Yeah.
So while it was frustrating to see, especially because it's Indiana, and
Hmm.
I really wanted to play Boston. That part sucks. Like, think about it. The two teams I dislike the most, the Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers, are in the Eastern Conference Finals. That, I
Mm.
mean, I'm gonna watch, but I have no dog in the race. Like, I really dislike both. So one of them are going to be in the NBA Finals, though. So that much we know. So
Mm.
I'm pretty much looking over to the West Coast to see what's going on with Denver and Minnesota. So Dallas is waiting. So we'll see, man. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's why part of me for my lateness. I was watching the game. I had to take some time to get over it. My heart rate was up. I was going a little crazy, but I think I'm okay now. So what's up,
All right.
everybody? Thanks for
Yeah, what's
bearing
up?
with me.
Oh yeah, and to respond, Lady Alex. I mean, I don't really like those labels either. Here I'll put it on the screen. I don't like those labels either, but how do I describe the people within that age range? I mean, it gets a little taxing saying people around this age group to this group, or people who were born at around this time to this time. I mean, because there is a mentality that comes with a time period that you're born
I mean,
into overall, not everybody of course, but and I don't like it
I,
either. I'm classified as a millennial, but technically I'm what a couple of years ago I was considered Gen X, and then they reclassified everything and made the cutoff 2 months before my birthday, actually basically 1 month before my birthday. So if I would have been born like 33 days earlier, I would be a Gen X. So I mean, the terms are for lack of a better terms, I have to kind of use what people colloquially know these things to be.
I mean, the only reason why I don't mind it is because it just describes the time period. That's the only. I don't, you know, me personally, I don't take offense only because it's related to the age and nothing else, right? When I say boomer, I'm just thinking of people of a certain age bracket. I heard Turkish drones are covering her. Man, look, I was like, yo, can we have a reset? But it's all good.
Mhm.
But that's the only thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I mean, if you want to say people in their 70s, people in their 80s, people in their 90s, etc. If you want to say that, that's cool. But I don't mind the. See, I'm from New York. We describe everything down to a T. You know what I
Everything gets a
mean?
label. I mean,
Everything is like broken down. You know what I mean?
but I do got to say real quick, but Lady Alex, if you're gonna be harsh on people for not paying attention and not being clearly understand stuff, you got to be harsh on who you're talking about. Also, that's only fair. Gotta narrow
Yeah.
down who you're talking about. You can't get vague then. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, categorized by Saturday morning cartoons you watch. I mean, damn. I mean, I've been around for a minute, right? Like, oof. I'm gonna try to name an obscure one. Does anybody remember Jason and the Wheeled Warriors?
No.
That's an obscure one. How about Mask? You
Like the
remember
Jim
that one,
Carrey
Marcus?
mask one?
No, Mask with the cars.
No.
You remember GoBots?
No.
I know you remember Voltron.
Of course.
Okay.
And
Uh,
don't worry about it, Anna. No sweat. I didn't take anything personal.
do you know
I'm
Thunderbolt?
looking at the Rockspin side, and shout out to him, Car, also on the Rockspin side.
Let me see what else. Uh, let's see. Let's see what else we got. I mean, there's obvious ones that we could name. Like the Thundercats, He-Man, She-Ra. Everybody should know those, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one, Mister Transformers? Those would be the obvious ones.
I mean, I did
GoBots
all.
was bootleg Transformers.
I watched some of the classics too, like Bugs Bunny and stuff like that, and the Looney Tunes, and
hmm
but I don't know. I guess I had the ones which I watched, and then what was it? You said Saturday mornings? Because see, that's probably what it was. My mom had us cleaning on Saturday morning.
Yeah, we clean, but we did it. Me and my brother, we wake up early. We wake
Well,
up
see,
early,
the
get that
difference is
done.
like I had to go out and cut the grass too, so I'm
Oh,
out
see,
cutting
yeah,
the
we have to do all
grass.
that. Okay,
So we had to go to cut the grass and cleaning out the oven and a whole lot of other stuff. See, my brother, he had to do. We cleaned our rooms first, and then he had to help with her cleaning the windows and all that stuff. And I was outside cutting grass, trimming hedges and stuff. So half of my morning was gone on Saturday mornings.
got you. Yeah, for us, we didn't
Mhm.
have all that. We was in the building, so we
Well, that's
didn't
what I'm
really
saying.
have.
I ain't got no grass up there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We didn't have any grass to cut. We was in the building, so you just took care of your room and whatever else your parents told you. But everybody in the house woke up early. My
Yeah.
parents, my brother, we always up early.
And then
So
sometimes if I wanted some money, I drag my mower from house to house, seeing how much whose yard need a cut.
yeah, no, we ain't. Where we gonna put them over? Nah, mm-mm,
We had in the
don't do
garage.
it.
See, in the
Yeah, right.
Midwest, you got all that basement, garage, front yard, backyard.
I know it's great. It's quite the contrast to go from like a building like mine to the projects to you know, these big ass single family homes all throughout Queens, Long Island, parts of Brooklyn, Bronx. You know what I mean? Like, yo, they do have some, whenever you learn it, whenever you're young, you know what I mean? Whenever you start to get out from those neighborhoods.
Now, I did see Biker Mice from Mars, Chris H. And I remember Captain Planet. It was
Mm-hmm.
another Captain Power. Do you remember that? I
Captain
used to
Power.
I used to had a little planes. You had planes and it had these like reflectors on it. You could shoot at the screen and
Oh,
everything.
oh, I got a dope one. Centurions.
Lost me there.
Oh, tell me you ain't watched the Centurions? You don't remember what was it? Rockwell, Ace McLeod, and what was it? Jake Rockwell? Damn, I think I'm on point with that too. But anyway,
No.
you remember they could beam up all they equipment? Oh no, that was fire.
Yeah, Chris H remembers. But
Okay, damn, I don't got me on that one. But yeah,
but
I know I took your I derailed the conversation. My bad, y'all. Rick, I said Silverhawks.
mhm.
Yep.
But uh I guess you know what, I don't want to just start us in a rush into some of the crazy. I don't know if you've heard the news, but the Iranian president a helicopter had kind of a shaky landing, and people are wondering if there was any foul play on this, if this is going to lead to any kind of escalation. So I'm kind of keeping a browser open to kind of watch that and monitor that if we get any breaking news. And if you guys out there get any breaking news, please let us know. Um,
Well, if
but
you know what, let
uh,
me say this: if this is something that was the result of outside and if it was anything outside of uh, genuine, legitimate mechanical problem, right? Legit, even though it shouldn't
no,
be. But let's just say if it's anything outside of that and you find out it is internal bullshit going on or it is external, yo, somebody need to die, right? I mean, I hate to say it like that, but that's what, right?
yeah, and yeah, as far as we know, the answer would be no. He's supposedly fine, but haven't heard anything more. Um, I figured let me start you off with something fun. Well, I don't know about fun in comparison to some of the kind of more depressing stuff going on. I mean, it's probably not
Yeah,
the
I thought I
greatest.
saw, but I thought I saw that, so I was waiting before I went crazy. Even though everybody, the one thing about being in, one thing about being aware of the bullshit with the mass media, right? Is so fine. You have an oppositional view to mainstream. I get it. I'm there with you. However, aside from the companies, when the information comes out, I mean, it drops, and I understand why financially, why some online accounts would, just push the button and try to hype their shit up to get themselves in the algorithm. I get that. But the people who are not playing that game, who are actually like, just trying to, keep it real amongst their little small circle of folks, even sometimes they be overhyping shit before they even know what it is. It don't even make sense sometimes. Like, just wait.
So I wanted to pull up this one story. It's kind of a it is an update. Why does it still keep moving? Slow down, stop moving. It is an update to. We begin in the Middle East, where fighting has escalated in Gaza. What the heck? We continue to follow new developments. Sorry, hold on. Graffiti towers in downtown LA. One day after we shared this
You didn't
shocking
go on
video.
mute either. He thought he hit the mute. There you go. He got it that time. He got to shut down all those windows. You got to pause all those windows you got open. That's what it is.
Yeah, what happened is from the other day, I pulling the computer back up, all the windows I had up in prep for yesterday, well, they start all clicking same time. Well, two of them clicked at the same time. Because I was trying to select one of them and it moved. But I wanted to give an update on that graffiti tower out here first. Let me back this up. But here we go.
We continue to follow new developments from the so-called graffiti towers in downtown LA. One day after we shared this shocking video showing a man walking between two of the skyscrapers. Tonight, businessman Rick Caruso is weighing in. NBC4's Alex Rozier joins us live with more. Alex?
Yeah, Rick Caruso is frustrated. The slacklining is just the beginning of the problems here, and the graffiti is very easy to spot. At least $1 million of taxpayer money has been spent as the city works to secure this site.
New video shows two men breaking into the abandoned Oceanwide Plaza development downtown Los Angeles. Watch as they easily hop over this newly constructed fence and make their way inside.
And so it turns out you actually make your own ladder out of humans.
Ben Schneider said he recorded this video hours before he recorded himself slacklining. 40 floors up, more than 500 feet high between two of the unfinished skyscrapers.
You've got to hold criminals responsible.
Businessman Rick Caruso said LA's leaders have failed to hold people accountable for committing crimes. That's why we're seeing things like slacklining, base jumping, and graffiti at Oceanwide.
The fact that we even had a headline that talked about is it art or is it graffiti? It's a crime. Somebody went in and hurt somebody else's private property.
In 2019, the Chinese developer here ran out of money and abandoned the project. In recent months, the city's taken steps to secure the site. The council approved more than $1 million.
Oh man, this is like, you know, the late 70s, 80s in New York. They tagging up everywhere.
Every corner of this development.
Everything is cyclical, except this happening in a place that never happened before.
It's a waste of the officers' time, money, and our tax-paying dollars.
Last week, some celebrated what's believed to be good news. The property's now for sale, though Caruso isn't too optimistic.
Do you know many people in the world of development that are interested in that property?
No one. I don't know people that are interested in investing downtown, period. The graffiti is a sign that the downtown area is in decay.
After months of issues, Ben's stunt is just the latest at these graffiti-filled towers.
I've been in there a total of 9 times now.
Caruso says these problems need to be fixed.
Los Angeles is the greatest city in the world. I still believe it. But we're chipping away at that greatness little by little.
And as we bring you back out live tonight, a reminder that Ben's stunt is not just dangerous, but it's also illegal. But with well over $1 million taxpayer dollars invested in security here, there are still concerns about security tonight. I asked Rick Caruso about what he.
But the problem is when somebody like that talks about, oh, the downtown is decaying and I don't know anybody that would buy it. The problem is everything is so damn expensive. If you drop the prices, yeah, you could develop that for all kind of different things, but you guys don't want to do that. That's the problem. All the property value is so expensive in LA, and they just rather this stuff just do nothing with it and lose money than cut it to try to help people. They could turn this into affordable living. They could now his proposal, what he was talking about is possibly something for teachers, police, firefighters to get at a discounted rate. But I mean, if you guys don't drop the price on this and just go on ahead and take a haircut and eat some of these millions off of it, and I mean, this city is probably one of the worst cities in this country as far as having inaffordable living and not enough, living space for people. That's the reason why you got so many people who don't move out of their parents' house till they're like 40 years old. That's the reason why you got people piled on top of people, and you got people in one bedroom, and you got a whole 5-6 people packed into one bedrooms. And it's not like, oh, well, this is a temporary fix. This is like people are living like this for like 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And they wonder why, the city is in the state that it's in, because you got a whole bunch of extremely disgustingly wealthy people who don't want to just take a little bit of a cut on money that they can afford to just ignore just to help a handful of people out. I don't know. What's your thoughts, Chris?
Well, one thing I would like to know, like if there was even numbers on that, is how many those those are clearly commercial projects, or were those like residential?
It's residential.
It was residential. Those are supposed to be what, condos or apartments?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, either or, right?
Yeah.
Okay. One, it sound like those are investor specials. Number one, right? People with bread, because they said what a Japanese company owned one. So I'm sure there were other, investors who just put money in there just to own it and tried to rent it out. My second question would be, how many people from that area left as a result of what was going on with COVID? I wonder what the numbers would look like pre-COVID and post-COVID, because I know California had quite a bit of, quite a few people left California. So it would be interesting to see if any of that movement affected that particular area. And
I don't think so.
And like you
The
said,
reason why I don't think so is because the downtown, people have been kind of fleeing out of the downtown for a while, well before COVID. And it's just because it's expensive, and it's hard to get around. And if you have any kind of events, it's hard to move around, and parking is horrible. And so people try to move somewhere else where they can find something a little bit affordable, a little bit, well, more affordable. And what you have, honestly, is you have more and more people moving further and further out and just driving longer and longer distances here. And so, I mean, this metro area is
isn't
probably,
Brightline coming over there? Isn't the Brightline coming to California?
what's the bright line?
The high speed rail system that's here, that's down
No,
here in Florida. I thought I
no.
saw the company. I thought I saw the company make an announcement that they were
I
adding
mean,
a line. That they were
I
adding a
haven't heard
line.
anything.
Okay.
They've talked about making all kind of high speed rail from LA to San Francisco, LA to Las Vegas. I believe even out to New Mexico and Arizona, but they have done absolutely nothing. Elon Musk was actually one of the people who was talking about building this like bullet tube kind of thing, because he didn't want to invest in the public transportation. So they went with him on trying to come up with some kind of solution. Like when you used to go to the bank back in the day and you put the stuff in a little tube and shoots it over. He was trying to make some kind of thing like that with metal tubes and magnets and all kind of weird stuff. So once that kind
Like
of
they have.
tanked, I haven't heard much on it.
Oh,
Chris
okay.
H
Thank you,
says,
Fred. Thank you. I knew I read something to that effect. I just wasn't sure if it was only in LA.
"Oh, it's in LA. Think it's to Victorville." Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it might go out to Victorville, but I don't see it going to LA because the infrastructure in LA is so crowded. You would have to tear up a whole lot of stuff and then block up a lot of stuff and make traffic a nightmare in order to even do some of these things. Which, if it turns out to be better on the other side, yeah. But Chris
If
H
there's
says,
no,
uh-huh.
if there's not many, you know, residential crossings on that route, that's going to be such a nice ride, because he's just going to be able to sit there and just really get to experience, you know what I
It'd
mean?
be
'Cause
nice
here,
if they did something like that, but I don't see them doing much more than what they've already done. I think, I don't know. We'll look into it more, but I just don't see it.
over here people keep getting hit, and the media always like, oh, a bright line hit somebody else. I said, it's a train, the sign's coming, the gate is down, the arms are down. At that point, if you get hit by a train, you were trying to you chose suicide by train. Unless it's a true accident, you chose suicide by train because there's no way that you playing with the train trying to cross the tracks on a in front of an oncoming train. And here, a lot of the time, whenever they do the after story, you realize like, yo, it was two drug addicts. They were trying to jump the tracks together. One made it, the other one did it. And you hear all those types of stories. It kind of make you laugh on one hand, but it's kind of up on the other side. But it's not. I can't blame the train for that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I just saw, depending on the state, it's some states are better or worse than others. I mean, what was that? I think Lady Alex said that they're not pedestrian friendly. I mean, try going to the UK. You'll find out what not pedestrian friendly really is when you get over there, because a double-decker bus will not slow down for you. You better run out of the street. It will see you walking in the street and not slow down. It will run you the hell over. So I mean, it's even worse in those places. Chris H asks, like, what mistakes did LA make to make the state so financially unlivable? It's not mistakes. This is done on purpose. The problem is you have so many ultra rich people here, and those ultra rich people, they inflate the cost of everything. That's the problem. You got a bunch of very middle class, well, I don't even want to say middle class, let's say working class. Got a bunch of blue collar people, but you have handfuls of like some of the richest people in the world who live out here, and they drive the price of things through the roof. That's what the problem is. So when you have a bunch of, I mean, California and LA has a bunch of billionaires who live here. Those billionaires don't mind paying crazy amounts for whatever. And so what they'll do is, because they're trying to attract wealthier people to the area, they make things higher priced. And since there's enough wealthy people to keep buying things, and I'm talking about properties and vehicles and whatever, the list, it prices the average person out of a lot of things. And that's how you have people who used to be able to have a single family home who are now piled up with their in-laws and, living in their probably parents' garage and all that kind of stuff. But let's see what Chris has here. Las Vegas 2020, Las Vegas, April 22nd, 2024. Today, Brightline West officially broke ground on the nation's first true high rail system, which will connect Las Vegas to Southern California. The 218-mile system will be constructed in the middle of the I-15 and is based on Brightline's vision to connect city pairs that are too short to fly and too far to drive. Hailed as the greenest form of transportation in the world, Brightline West will run zero emissions, fully electric trains capable of speeds 200 miles per hour. Brightline West is a watershed project for high-speed rail in America and will establish the foundation for the creation of a new industry and supply chain. The project was recently awarded $3 billion in funding from President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure bill. The rest of the project will be privately funded and has received a total allocation of $3.5 billion in private equity bonds from USDOT. So that's what it's saying on this. I don't know how much that will actually help
Read that
people
part,
in
Mark.
this area in particular. Brightline West rail system will span 218 miles and reach speeds of 200 miles per hour. The route, which has fully environmental clearance, will run within the median of the 115 highway with 0 grade crossings. The system will have stops in Las Vegas, Nevada, as well as Victor Valley, Hesperia, and Rancho Cucamonga, California. Um, yeah, but like for instance, I've been out here since like
I guess some people will be
2017, 2018. I've never been out to Victorville or or Rancho Cucamonga or a lot of these places. And the
I
way the
guess
city
some people
is set
would
up,
like that
yeah,
first part at least, right?
I mean, but who the hell goes out to Victorville? There's
They'll
like
say
nothing
they'll
out
say
there. I
union,
mean,
it's union labor, right? So I guess some people,
yeah, but the people, I mean, I guess that would make it easier for people who are just traveling back and forth, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that works because you still are. So what are you going to do? Get to Las Vegas and have to rent a car? Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. I think it sounds more. I just don't see it really
look at this.
working.
So for the people in Vegas, read that part, Marcus.
Okay, Bright Line West will connect Southern California and Las Vegas in 2 hours, or almost half the time as driving. The Las Vegas station will be located near the iconic Las Vegas Strip on a 110-acre property north of the Blue Diamond Road between I I-15 and Las Vegas Boulevard. The site provides convenient access to the Harry Reid International Airport and the Las Vegas Convention Center and the Raiders Allegiant Stadium. Of course, that's why. The station is approximately 80,000 square feet plus parking. Of course, this is to funnel more people to the Raiders Stadium and to the Strip for gambling. That's basically what it is. It is not about
But
actually
that's
really helping people get around more. It's about funneling you to a place where you can spend more money.
yeah, of course. But at the same time, people are gonna want to take the ride. I just wonder how much they're gonna charge because here it's it's kind of expensive for a trip down to, for me, like from down to Miami, you know what I mean?
I don't
And
know
it's
how
only,
expensive is it right now
two.
to go to Miami because it used to be that expensive years back.
No, because you have two train lines here, right? You have the Tri-Rail, which is like your commuter train, which has multiple stops every few minutes, right? All
Yeah.
the way, it'll take you all the way south to Miami, but it'll take some time. Bright Line from where I live is 2 stops, right? Stops in Lauderdale, next stop Miami. So
Mm-hmm.
you see what it is, what it's looking like, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's look from West Palm. Excuse me, shit.
Bless you.
Yeah, what's today? The 19th?
19.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to put in my vacation time.
Oh,
Excuse
word?
me. Yeah. I think I figured out the dates that I'm putting in.
Okay.
Let's see, look at the calendar.
All right, so it's like $50, $60 from me to get to Miami. $60. That 89 would have guessed if on some premium shit with all the amenities. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. For me, it doesn't make sense. I'll drive. You know what I'm saying? I get to bring everything I need with me. So for me, that
Exactly.
just doesn't. For me, that doesn't make good sense. That's too much. So I just
Yeah, and if
wonder
it
what.
only goes from there, if it doesn't go all the way up and down the whole coast of Florida, I mean, I get it
Well,
if you had that and it went all the way to at least like Orlando or maybe St. Augustine or something like that, but the fact that it doesn't go all the way up, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You can just hop in the car and drive what three and a half, 4 hours.
mm-hmm. Lady Alex just said she's going to be searching for the upside down pineapples in the Caribbean. I mean, I
I
didn't
mean,
want to put your business out there, but that's what you just said, right? I'm messing with you. I just saw something about that made that come to mind. But
I didn't
let me
mind
know.
hopping in the car and driving. Because what was it, like 5.5, 6 hours, no traffic, from Jacksonville, down there, down to Miami.
How long is that drive though? From okay, so from how long is the drive
What
on
are
the
you talking
route that
about?
they're?
You talking about from LA to Nevada? I mean to Las Vegas?
Yeah, what is that ride? Because it
About
says
about 4 hours.
in two. Oh, okay. All right. 4 hours. So if you stop and you chill, you get something to eat and all that, it could easily, if you're driving, what's the speed limit? Like 60?
No, when you get up the Grapevine, it hits about, what, about 70, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got you. All right.
So
But yeah, it was just something that, crossed my mind. So we can move on.
yeah, and I figured while I'm on LA stories, I'll give you another crazy LA story. This is a crazy place. This is a crazy place out here. I just got to give y'all something. Throw throw you off a little bit from the normal stuff that we talk about. Kind of break things up a little bit. Let's see. This crazy car chase that happened the other day. Actually, well, no, let's give you this one first. Let's give y'all this one first. Why is it playing first? I already click on it. Calm down.
Naked man runs through traffic, gets hit by a car.
It was a wild and crazy scene and completely shocking to those people who were driving on Slauson. Take a look.
Yeah, it was just crazy. This naked man just jumping out of the bush from the roof and onto the street.
Cell phone video captures a disturbed and desperate naked man running across Slauson Avenue on Thursday morning near Edgemar Avenue in Los Angeles.
Oh, be careful, be careful.
The bloodied, exposed man is struck by a driver who never sees him coming. That poor lady, clearly shaken up.
He jumped from the roof over there.
Watching it all unfold, Jerry Garcia, who recorded the madness on his cell phone. What are you thinking as you're watching this?
I don't know, it's just speechless because you never expect to see a naked man running in front of you like during your day.
Despite being struck by a car, the man
survived.
Gets up and moves. He can then be seen on the ground in front of a different car. After a few seconds, he gets up and walks away. Jerry remembers seeing a dazed look on that man's face.
Just very confused. Like, I don't know what he was on or what was going on or going through his head. But yeah, very confused, like kind of out of it.
This is the second floor window the man jumped out of. You can see traces of blood left behind. The LAPD says the man tackled an officer who responded to the scene.
I think he tried to fight the cops as well or so, but then that's when they subdued him.
With so many cases of drug-induced violence and people suffering with
zombies,
Jerry emphasizes the importance of remaining vigilant. Well, on
that was a good shot of a real zombie. That was good. I thought I saw zombies.
I got that story too. If you want to see, I got that story in here too.
If you really want to see zombie behavior, look at Philly, right? In certain parts of Philly, right?
Oh yeah, Philly's bad. Philly's real bad.
That shit is crazy. It looked like a video game type shit, like where you got to make the character walk slow and not make any sudden moves or noises to alert the bad guys in the area. So then they don't attack you. That shit is wild. But
but to back that up, that lady here, check out what was going on before that.
They want to stop this. This woman is dangerous. We don't see a pit maneuver often on the freeway. The 2 LAPD officers have already been hurt, but you very seldom see this. This is how badly they want to take this woman into custody. Here they go once again. They're going to try and stop this. Boy, look at the way the van swerved to the right. Now they've got it spun out. But she is just flooring it right now, getting as much power to that vehicle as possible.
Damn, it's the video not moving.
Around the van, though, because there's damage to that van. That's oncoming traffic you're looking at on the 405.
Did you freeze, Marcus?
Head on into that car.
Oh crap! I froze.
Block 8. There's the patrol car. There's the block to the freeway. How dangerous is this? She's going to go head on into those vehicles. Oh my God!
Oh, hold on a sec.
You got to mute your thing. All right, there we go. Mute your mic, rather. All right, there we go. So while okay, I think he's back now.
You want to stop this? This woman is.
You got to close that window. I can still hear it. I mean, unless it's running.
Let me pause it and start it over.
Hey, did you see that video this week of the dudes fighting with the machetes in the DR where the dude cut the homeboy's hand?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yo,
all right,
when
can
I
you see
watched
it now?
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right, let's see if it's frozen still.
This is how badly they want to take this woman into custody. Here they go once again. They're going to try and stop this. Boy, look at the way the van swerved to the right. Now they've got it spun out. But she is just flooring it right now, getting as much power to that vehicle as possible, and it's just spinning around in circles. It's a big van, though, and because there's damage to that van.
Oh, nice. Get off me, softy. I'm out.
Head on into that car.
Oh, come on.
There you go.
Dog, reverse, move.
There's the blockage of the freeway.
I've done that before. I wasn't the driver, but I was in the passenger seat. We didn't do that, though. I don't know how we didn't, but
we're going to have innocent people hurt. There they have her, but oh my goodness, what a
we got lucky that day.
Sadly, it looks like innocent people.
Did you see that? She just went full speed, like straight into all those cars.
They want to stop this. This woman is dangerous. We don't see a pit maneuver often on the freeway. The 2 LAPD officers have already been hurt.
That was dangerous by the police. Again, really, just let her go until she runs out of gas. I mean, really, where is she going to go, right? So again, that's irresponsible on the police's part. They should be sued and have to pay through their pension for any and all damages to anybody's or any injuries caused. Because again, you can just let them drive and pick them up. That's it. You have a chopper over her. You understand what I'm saying? So all this is drama for no reason. Like, you really caused that. You really caused that, made that to happen.
And that's one of the issues that it blew me away when I first got out here. That, I mean, like the first time I saw it, I was like, oh my God, they got a high-speed chase going in. This happens like every other day out here. Some crazy stuff like this. And
yeah, that's dumb.
I'm like, y'all are making it worse. Why don't you just follow these people? Just stay behind them. Give them some distance, keep the bird over top, and then wait till they run out of gas and hop out. I mean, how many people did they just put into harm's way by turning that crazy ass person around? They start going the wrong way through traffic and then barreled into like 5-6 cars.
Again, where are they going to go, right? Okay, so just let them go. Just let them go. You have a chopper on them. That's it. I mean, look, you got eyes everywhere. Stop. Again, they didn't have to do that. They caused that. They wanted the action scene.
And that might be something too. You might be right. It might be something to that because they do that kind of stuff out here all the time. There's a chase like every other day. It's just some worse than others.
It's like when people go on the chase, when we have the chases from Miami up through where I'm at, right? Yo, where you gonna go? You gonna drive out of Florida on a tank of gas from Miami?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going? Where are you gonna go, dog? You just go fly up 95, cut over, take the turnpike. What else? Make your way over to the Everglades. I don't know, son. Like, what you gonna do? So when I see these chases and the police going ham, it doesn't make sense. But they don't really do that type of aggressive pit shit here like that. They
Oh,
do
they
every
do
once
here.
in a while,
They're
but not
ridiculous
to
with
the
it out here.
extent that you guys do
What
it
up, Steve?
in Cali. Yeah, what up, Rockfin?
Yeah. Yeah, they no longer in the lane could be dangerous. Yeah, they just don't care. It's just I honestly think the cops just want some excitement. I really do. I think that they're like, oh, well, what can we do? Oh, we got to chase. Let's get into it. And they want to squeal the tires and do all this stuff. This city is too crowded for all that. I mean, it's the reason why in some cities
Like, think
they
about
put
how
out
much
the law.
traffic they
You
just
can't follow them after a couple of miles. After a couple
Think
of miles,
about
they're
the
like,
people.
cut that off.
Think about the people who are gone home who had to take a shit, who was just like, damn, I can't wait till I get off the damn highway. I got to go home. I got to take a shit. I want to take a shower, get something to eat. And then this stupid shit happens, right? And then now you behind, not that you got hit or anything. Now you all, inconvenienced, all because the police had to go do some stupid shit. What up, Saul?
Yeah, Rick says they do this shit out in Texas, and it's them trying to catch undocumented people on the suspicion of smuggling most of the time. The crime is the guy just didn't have papers. Yeah, they think every brown person they see is a possible cartel member, or trafficking, and that's this screwed up system that we live in.
Hey, but that's what it is,
I mean,
but what else we got, man?
What else we got? We're gonna finish that Morning Joe, the other side of that Morning Joe clip, because I think it's pertinent for walking this.
This clip is going around on Twitter.
That's not what I wanted to do, but I figure the other part that I wanted to show where we left off last night. Let's share screen. And yes, again, I give the warning. I know how people feel about this group, but this is where I saw it at. So got to give credit to where I saw the clip. So we already saw the first part. Let's skip to the second part. Where Morning Joe is showing that they can have, it doesn't matter what experts you put in front of them, they're still idiots, or they're paid to be idiots, which same thing.
This is I remember this was so fun when this happened.
What do we do the next time Israel is attacked from an outside force? What do we do at that point?
That's the wrong question.
No, that's not the wrong question, because we never get the condemnation of Hamas or Hezbollah. It's always after Israel responds to defending itself.
No, it's not. The problem is that this conflict has lasted for years, and the United States has been largely passive. So the right question is not what do we do when things break down. The right question is what do we do to avoid a breakdown by being engaged seriously in the peace process. And for the last 8 years, we haven't been. And that's why we have the mess like we have right now in our hands.
You can't blame what is happening in Israel right now on the Bush administration.
Yes, you can.
You can't.
Well, look, Joe.
Let's go back to 2000, Dr. Brzezinski. You and I both know Bill Clinton gave Arafat and the Palestinians everything they could have wanted.
Such a stunningly superficial knowledge of what went on that it's almost embarrassing to listen to you. If you were to look more closely at what happened in the Clinton...
Oh, gosh. And that makes me feel good that he'll always live with the knowledge that his father-in-law thought he was a dumbass.
Yep.
I love that look to the camera Mika does too when it starts getting real.
All right, but let's hear his point about because a lot of people have that stunningly ignorant and superficial understanding of Oslo.
A stunningly superficial knowledge of what went on that it's almost embarrassing to listen to you. If you were to look more closely at what happened in the Clinton Camp David discussions, you would know that what we have just said is absolutely wrong. There were all sorts of provisions and catches to the so-called proposal, and it wasn't rejected. The negotiations went on in Taba, and then there were elections in Israel, and Sharon came in, and everything got aborted. In the last 8 years, we had a policy in which we have proclaimed an interest in peace. Condi Rice has traveled 16 times in 21 months to the region, proclaiming you must do this, you must do that, but the United States never exerted itself. So the issue that Obama faces, and that's a question that you raised, is are we going to be sitting there issuing condemnations, whether it's of Hamas or of Israel or anybody else, or are we going to be seriously engaged in the peace process? That is the question.
We have another block, and I'm very excited about that because I'm stunningly superficial. Chief, I look forward to you educating me and the rest of America. Hold on, the rest of America and the rest of the foreign policy community who have said time and again, Arafat walked away from the
before that.
So I wanted to show that because that is a perfect example of the mainstream media still to this day. Still arrogant, still think they know it all, and refusing to listen to actual experts on the subject because of their unflinching biasness towards Israel.
So you have it from somebody who served within the executive branch of the United States government under the president, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would think he has access to certain pieces of information and intel that we don't. If he's drawing that conclusion from his position, it's not hard to draw the, it's not hard to say the same thing from the position where we are. I mean, you just look at it. This is not a complicated issue. It's really not. They want to make it complicated, and you know why. But it's not a complicated issue on any level whatsoever. It's quite clear what it is. If you have any complications with it, then maybe you're getting some money. If you're public, like I just don't see where the confusion comes from in looking at it on its face. And it doesn't. You don't even have to, be hateful. You just look at the situation. Maybe some people have to replace the names and the descriptions for them to properly understand it. But if you don't see it for what it is, then you don't want to. You are making a choice.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is just that reflexive biasness, and all the Zionists love to pretend that it's more complicated so that they can try to get you to not look at what's clear, not look at what's obvious going on. They're saying, oh, well, there has to be something that you're just not seeing. You're not getting the whole truth. There's all these things that you just don't know about. No, it's pretty freaking clear. We can see what's going on.
And Marcus, if we take it one step even further, right, real quick, if we just listen to the things they said, they've expressed it in speeches, they've written about it in books, in other major publications. They have clearly stated what their goals are, what their end game objectives are, many times over, in many different languages, and they put their money where their mouth is, and they make good on the things they say they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it's so difficult for people to see.
Yeah. So that's the clearing up that, because all of this is dovetailing into this whole Rafah Pier situation and all that. And so I had this video that this doctor who was on Piers Morgan, and I know Piers Morgan is insufferable to listen to, but this doctor giving his take on what he's seeing, I felt like it was a good video for us to see, because granted, I know we see the clips that come out, but often we don't always hear a firsthand take of a foreign doctor who's going into the area and what they see from it. So wanted to share this one with you all. Maybe you've seen it, maybe not, I don't know. But I want to put it out there anyway for anybody who might come across this stream and who haven't seen these things. Where's it at?
And the other 3 were seriously injured. So this is the reality. We've seen burns, we've seen broken bones.
Let's back that up a little bit.
And then mute because I hear an echo too.
Yeah.
Illness, and it's just unbelievable. While the reality, I would say, is very different from the shots you see on TV. It is a million times worse. The way I like to describe it to people is like you just had a hurricane. Because I'm from Texas, I can talk about hurricanes. Imagine a hurricane hit a city, and then a major earthquake hit it again, followed by a tsunami. This is the reality on the ground in Gaza. If you visit Khan Yunis, like how we did in the past couple of days, actually we are in Khan Yunis, and between Khan Yunis and Rafah. We went and visited Khan Yunis, and it's just unbelievable. While looking at the destroyed buildings, I kept asking myself, how can you create and make such destruction in such a record time? It's just unbelievable.
And in terms of the civilian casualties that you're seeing on a daily basis, what kind of scale are we talking, and what kind of injuries?
Everything you can think
of. What kind of stupid questions are never, sorry.
Everything is not just civilians, it's families. So when we talk about civilians, it could be one person from a different family, and one here and one there. But what we've witnessed are entire families wiped out. Just a couple of days ago, we had a family of 7 brought to the European hospital in Gaza here. That the federal scientific team worked very hard in trying to treat them and resuscitate one of them. 3 of them actually came to the hospital in a state of, I would say 2 were dead, 1 in a state of death, effectively. Our team spent about 45 minutes trying to bring someone back to life, and unfortunately failed. One of them came with the head and the entire torso effectively completely crushed, like an 18-wheeler just drove on top of him. Another one came completely dead with the face completely burnt, and the mother was following them screaming. And I asked her, "What's going on? Why? What happened?" She said, "Look, we live east of Khan Yunis, and we heard the bombing happening close to us in Rafah, so we decided to evacuate." Even though she said the area where we live is not considered a red zone, it's not a war zone, relatively safe. She said we decided to leave. We packed our stuff on the back of a car, and I told my son as soon as we were ready, I told him to go upstairs, just make sure that all the doors are locked before we leave the house. And suddenly I see a tank rolling close to the house. I thought it's just we'll be safe. And she said by the time my son went down, the tank hit the house, and several people were killed. She said we didn't have cars because there's no gas in Gaza. So they have 1 car with gas that she could carry the 3-4 bodies with her and bring them to the hospital. 3 of them actually died, and the other 3 were seriously injured. So this is the reality. We've seen burns, we've seen broken bones, we've seen crushed bodies, children with broken skulls. I just cannot describe the horror, honestly, that we have seen so far.
And it's quite likely to get immeasurably worse if there's a full-scale invasion of Rafah. I know that you were in a safe house with many of your team in Rafah, but you had to evacuate. Why was that?
We call it the safe house that's no longer safe. We spent about a week in that house, and we were operating at the European hospital, kind of business as usual, dealing with the casualties and treating people with acute injuries and so on. But then 1 week into our stay at that house, we heard that the eastern part of Rafah was under evacuation. Our house, fortunately, happened to be in Block 6 in Rafah, and it was not in the area that was required to evacuate. So we thought we are relatively safe. And this house is considered deconflicted. So we are known, our position is known to the Israeli army and to the organizations that we have come with, primarily the WHO. It's a deconflicted house. So we decided to stay. But in the middle of the night, the bombings that took place within less than 500 meters radius was unbelievable. The sound, the shaking of the building, like literally in an unbelievable way, just scared the hell out of it. The level of terror at night was unbearable for any member of my team. I have 12 Americans, 3 Brits, 1 from Egypt and 1 from Oman, and we've all decided collectively that we're not going to spend the time any nights in this house anymore, even though we did not receive any evacuation orders, and we all basically came to the European hospital, and that's where we're staying since then.
Israel insists that it's getting humanitarian aid through, including medical supplies. What is your experience of that? Are you getting these medical supplies?
Unfortunately, not. I can tell you, my team at times feels useless. Honestly, I have the best of the best in terms of expertise between surgeons, primary care physicians, nurses, wound care specialists. But sometimes you have an injury coming to the emergency room, and you look for basic supplies, as simple as anesthesia medications. You don't have them. Blood, you don't have it. Basic wound care supplies, you don't have it. And one thing, Piers, that really struck everybody on the team is that the Palestinians seem to operate at a frequency that's different from the emergency teams in the West. It's basically rationing of resources. Sometimes you have an injury that's coming to the hospital, and they say we can't do anything about it. The way we think, the way in America thinks, like let's do whatever we can to save their lives. Or his or her life, and we've seen this multiple times. We try our best. We basically consume resources. For them, it's a waste because he is dead. Just don't spend time. So this reminds me of COVID time, right? Even though he still has a chance of survival, they decide not to take to work much on him or her because that's a waste of resources. As I said, this reminds me of COVID time when people at the hospitals in America and Europe and around the world.
Yes, I know that's triggering you, Chris, but try to hold it. Try to hold your composure.
World, we're saying this patient has the right or the chance of survival, so let's put him on or her on a ventilator, and that one does not let him kind of die slowly and humanely. That's kind of where we are in Gaza because there are no medical supplies. There barely any medical supplies. A lot of people die here. There are injuries of people that could, in the West, by the Western standards, could be saved. But here they cannot be saved because they have to go on a priority list, which is really, really heartbreaking.
If there is a full-scale invasion of Rafah, as Prime Minister Netanyahu has indicated there will be, what do you fear may happen?
Disaster, absolute disaster. Yesterday night, actually, or yesterday evening, I went and drove into Al-Mawasi area west of Khan Yunis. I wish if I could share these pictures with you. Literally all the way to the horizon, tents everywhere. Any direction you look, you see hundreds, actually thousands and thousands and thousands of tents everywhere with families left stranded without water, without proper shelter. And Piers, let me kind of tell you how reality is on the ground in these camps. A lot of people in the West in America, like where I come from, think that when Israel says we've evacuated Eastern Rafah, the first thing that comes to mind, you give them warnings and you send them, air-conditioned buses. They board the buses and they go into these evacuation areas in Al-Mawasi. And by the time you get there, you have these beautiful tents lined up with sanitary facilities waiting for you. That's not true. I mean, what we had to run from our safe house that's no longer safe, literally under the bombardment of the Israeli army. We just gathered our stuff and ran out of this house, which is a typical Palestinian experience. We did it twice. Our presence and our stay here in Gaza, the Palestinians have done it more than 7 or 8 times in the past 7 months. And when they get to Al-Mawasi, it's a desert. It's really a sandy land, empty land, where people carry their belongings on the back of a car or a truck or a donkey. They just dump it there and they start figuring out what's next. First, no water. You don't have tents because the supplies are not allowed in. And so they have to figure out how to create a shelter. And the problem is, if to buy a tent in Gaza today costs more than $1,000 to $2,000 because you can't find it. No organization gives you tent. There are some in the past, but currently none. So you go with your family of 5, 6, 10 children and your wife in the middle of absolutely nowhere. You don't know where the water is. And I've seen it with my own eyes, and I'm more than happy to shake. I actually see it on our Instagram page, Insider Scientific, that we posted or will be posted very soon. What people do, they dig a hole in the ground because they are near the beach. So the water table is very shallow, just about 2 meters deep, and then water comes out. So people collect that water and use it for drinking, washing, for everything. But the water is brown. It's brackish water. And for them to go get fresh water, they have sometimes to walk to 2 to 3 miles to find it. And if they find it, sometimes they have to pay for it. And it's very expensive. So things have gone 10 and 15 times in price, almost in everything in Gaza. Just to give you a simple example. For my team, for us to fill our cars with gasoline, with gas, 1 gallon of gas in Gaza cost $100. This is what we pay as an organization, $100 per gallon of gas. Apply this to everything. I don't like to describe this as a war. I like to describe it as madness, absolute madness.
And have you seen any evidence of Hamas, either
There
in
it
Rafah
is.
or Khan Yunis?
There it is.
I hope you believe me if I tell you I haven't even seen a police in Gaza, which is also another shocking experience, because you would expect in such circumstances, in the absence of police, that you will see chaos. People are, killing each other, but the crime rate in Gaza remains very low because people support each other and they kind of go through this tough experience together. We've been in Gaza. This is our second mission, so several weeks now in Gaza. Personally, this is my second week. I have not seen, and none of my
he's done with the interview.
Medical
He
team
got his
members have seen
Hamas
any
and
form
that was
militants
that's what he
either
was
at the
supposed to
hospital
do.
or otherwise.
Get it out there.
All what we receive at the hospital are injured and killed civilians. And when I say civilians, I like to stress that they are families, a mother, a father, their children, injuries. One of the latest cases that we had to work on, a young man in his 20s, came in still breathing, but in a state of a shock. So the team tried to resuscitate him.
How much longer we got with this?
It's like maybe 2 more minutes.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say,
yeah, he's not. And then he enters this, and then he gets to his propaganda with the panelists, yes. But I mean, I guess you guys get the gist of it. I can stop it there. But the situation, and he doesn't go into his typical with this guy. He doesn't go into his typical, do you condemn Hamas and all that, because this is just a doctor, and so he leaves that part out. He was hoping though that when he said, "Do you see Hamas?" that he was going to say, "Yes, we've been treating Hamas," but no, he didn't get that at all. He was hoping that he would get that, but no, none of that there.
He said we were in the safe house. We had to flee. We had to fly out of the safe house. I mean, what much more? What kind of stupid ass question is that, right? I mean, we know what it is, but
I've heard the same thing with all of these doctors. When you ask them, have they seen Hamas? None of them say they've even seen Hamas.
Why would you be looking at anything other than just trying to grab your shit, maybe a patient or two, and whatever, trying to make sure the people you're responsible for is out of there? Who got the hell time to look for anything? And like Hamas run around like it's the NBA with their jerseys on that says, yo, Hamas number 32. I'm Hamas 64. I'm Hamas 5. I mean, again, the ignorance of it all. That's why even sometimes I have to move past it, because it's such an insult to your intelligence.
Well, what it is exposing the people who are actually going on the ground and giving supplies and all that. What they're seeing is, you're not fighting Hamas. That's not what you're doing. You're just basically collective punishment on the civilian population. And while you're doing that, Hamas or resistant members are popping up and firing on you in return. But you're not even really hitting Hamas. What they're doing is anything that's moving in Gaza, the Israelis are attacking.
I mean, you kill my family, my neighbors, and all my friends, everybody that I know and have a good bond with. I pick up a rifle or a grenade, a rocket launcher, I'll bust at you. You kill me. You're gonna say you killed Hamas. That's essentially what's
and what they're calculating is if you're a man of age to be able to possibly be considered a combatant, they're just deeming you. This was Hamas that we killed.
Hamas, yeah.
And so, if you're a teenager to
if you're from 11,
age,
if you're 11 through 11 and up, there's no limit. 11 and up.
Yeah, I mean, basically,
yeah,
they're basically saying, well, bar mitzvah age. So what? 12, 13. Yeah, 12, 13 and up. You're Hamas. Every male is just Hamas. It doesn't matter. Do you have a gun? No weapons. No nothing. I'm just a kid running through the street. You're Hamas anyway. Or if they kill you, say, oh well, they were going to become Hamas. So we're just preventative damage. So that's what's going on there. I mean,
so what's going on? So what's the next thing? What's up with Netanyahu and Gantz? What they got going
on? I got this one clip to show inside of Israel some of the protests that are going on. I wanted to show that because this lady is giving her thoughts. And some of the people giving their thoughts on Netanyahu in general. Let's see, which clip is it? I think it's this one. Hold on.
Making it the highest number of attacks of the Palestinian group in a single day this year. Israel deployed its attack helicopters following the escalation by Hamas. And meanwhile, protests against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu continue to grow as Israelis demand a hostage release deal with Hamas. And now, parents of Israeli troops are urging the government to end the operation in Rafah, calling it a death trap. Parents of at least 900 Israeli troops have signed a statement against sending troops into Rafah. And some families blame Netanyahu for the loss of their children and even heckled the prime minister as he delivered the Memorial Day speech.
את חללי פעולות האיבה, אוהבי העם והמדינה. יהי זכרם ברוך.
For those that are listening, he said garbage. He killed, basically paraphrasing, garbage. He killed our kids.
You know, they're only there because their child was sacrificed. They don't care about what's happening, overall. So to them, I just say, let me just not say anything, but, let me just point that part out.
Or just hold it. Just hold it for a little bit. It's only a little bit more.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Then you can unload both barrels. He's a criminal.
Families are holding funerals for the troops as casualties mount for Israel. And as the anger grows, Israelis are demanding that the Netanyahu government stay away from the funerals of the slain soldiers.
I prefer no one from the government will come today. No one. I prefer some of the fathers or mothers that they've given their son, or they will talk today. It doesn't touch us. What he said, I don't believe any words of what he said. And I think all the government should go home today, not come to the ceremonies.
Now, as fighting continues, the operation in Rafah becomes increasingly complex.
But that's the gist of what I wanted to show there. I mean, the people, now keep in mind, even though these people are saying, they're voicing their criticism against Netanyahu and the government as a whole. Most of these people, a good chunk of them, only care about getting the hostages home. They don't really care about what's happening to the Palestinians over there. Many of them don't. As you can see, what was going with the settlers, how they were attacking people who were bringing in supplies and burning trucks and even willing to attack other Israelis who tried to stop them. So, and I would say that woman is even a little bit of an outlier because majority of the population still supports the war effort. Now, whether they support Netanyahu is a different story, but many of them still support what's going on and buy into the narrative of we have to go after Hamas and everything is Hamas and the sky is Hamas and all of them. I mean, I'm not gonna say all, but majority of that population still buys into the whole Hamas narrative. Hamas is responsible. Hamas. Even when we kill you, it's your fault because of Hamas. And yeah, so that's what's going on, and I can't take most of these people serious with anything they say because they only care. Many of these people only care about how do I get my son, my daughter home, my husband, my father. I don't really care about anybody else. And so, yes, a nation of psychopaths, and that's definitely what I would call it. Now, I have seen reports, and I'm not gonna show a video for this, but I've seen reports that said that Benny Gantz is openly requesting that an election be held to pull Netanyahu out of government. Also, for all those people who believe, oh well, things will get better once Netanyahu's gone. No, they won't, because Benny Gantz, who's the leading contender to possibly take him out of office, is going to continue the war also. Where he's been frustrated and where this division between Netanyahu has come, for one, it's opportunist. He wants that position. But for two, he has also complained openly about Netanyahu has not given them a directive on exactly what they are trying to accomplish. They're just going from place to place to place and continuously attacking this place and attack that place. And they don't have any kind of objectives on exactly what the hell they're supposed to be doing.
So, Marcus, this sounds like what was it? Bush versus Kerry. Was that 2004?
Yeah.
So we were already, by that time, we were already in Iraq. We were already in Afghanistan, right? We were probably already running operations in Pakistan.
We were in Libya already. I believe we were in Chad, and a couple other places.
So as the election took place here, you know, there were some loud. There was enough people that wanted the wars to end or the invasions to end, but the vast majority of people didn't even care. You know, they was too busy waging culture wars, right? Just to say, you know, just to be like, yo, look, you know, we're destroying millions or hundreds of thousands of people in Iraq at the time, right? You know, we've killed X amount of people in Pakistan, we've killed X amount of people here and there. You know, we're getting ready to set up Syria to take that to, you know, they're about to go through it. You know, clearly all of this was by the book, you know, this was their plan. They were nice enough, you know, PNAC, as I like to always mention them, they were kind enough to reveal their plans to us. You know, they really didn't keep us in the dark much. So if we just go by what the hell they told us they were going to do before taking office, then you wouldn't be surprised at any of this. But just comparing the Netanyahu and the Gantz, it's kind of like Kerry and, you know, Bush here. Regardless of who won, whatever, the foreign policy was still going to be the same. They were just probably arguing about some, you know, minor bullshit. Because what is Gantz going to do? Is he going to stop the issue, commit some funds to rebuilding, to put the people back there in their cage like they should be?
That's part of his complaints. That's part of his complaints too, because he's not saying that he wants to stop everything necessarily because he's benevolent and cares. He's realizing the fact of, if they can't get the U.S. and Great Britain and the rest of NATO to fork over money to pay for all this destruction they're doing, Israel's going to have to pay to fix all of this stuff that they're destroying. And it's like,
they have many wealthy donors that, they don't have to make public pronouncements of the investments that they make there. So they have plenty of bread.
But regardless, they have no intentions of wanting to pay for all the stuff they broke on their own. Their goal is to get,
on some level they will. They'll invest with OPM on some level, but at least the initial investment will be their own money, right? Because you got to spend some money, make some money, right?
Yeah, but we're not talking about just spending some money to make some money. We're talking about, hundreds and hundreds of billions that they're going to have to invest into a place that is not theirs, or supposedly is not going to be theirs. So and also you got to factor in with what's
Marcus, they're doing
this,
and they're doing this, and people are saying, "Oh, we cut business ties." We denounce. Nothing is happening. Unfortunately, we can see where this movie is going to end. There's going to be but an even smaller population there. They'll continue to spread the settlements throughout the West Bank as well. And then they'll probably just move them people to West Bank. I don't know, but they'll have a just teeny tiny.
Oh no, they're not moving them to West Bank. They're not doing that. I believe their goal is, and partly, and when we get to the pier, talking about the pier, I think that's part of the plan on dealing with some of these people. But I see no reality of where, because Egypt has kind of put the foot down and said, no, we're not about to take, we're not about to, take a whole hundreds of thousands of people all of a sudden and be responsible for them. You guys broke it over there. It is your responsibility. We're not cleaning up your mess. And that's what they're saying. They're like, yes, we will take the U.S. money to not push back, and we'll sit here and be quiet, and we won't send in any troops or anything. But we refuse to get involved and bring anybody over here because, for one, they couldn't support bringing in a whole bunch of people. It's not like Egypt's economy is like just thriving, balling out of control, for one. For two, you bring in all those people, it's going to put a definite weight and pressure on the Egyptian economy. Also, now you have a bunch of people who are a lot more religious and fundamentalist in their beliefs, and that's going to push back on the overwhelming amount of people in the Egyptian population who are secular. Then you factor in also, if any of those thousands or hundreds of thousands or however many people that they will want them to take, if any of them attack across into Gaza on the Israelis, or attack any kind of new settlements broke, then that would cause for Israel to give a justification that now that they can bomb and attack Egypt also. Which I can see that partially being part of the setup. Get them to take some of these people, then we can bomb and attack them. Now let's just go on ahead and take over the Suez Canal too while we're at it. So I see why Egypt would be like, no, we went about as far as we're gonna go. We can't go no further.
Marietta makes a great comment. America broke Egypt's economy during the Arab Spring.
Oh yeah, right. I completely remember.
So they, but again, it is what it is, man. Whoever has the most bombs, most guns, most planes is going to win. That's the game they play.
So
they just don't want to do it in such a way that they don't want to use Moabs everywhere, if you will. They'll do little smaller ones in places.
Well,
and
another
things
thing
like
is
that. And plus, they want to be able, but then you have to be able to cycle through the armaments that you create and that you sell, right? You don't just sell, you sell all types of weapons up and down the line, right? The production level is incredible for the type of materials that they make to actually subtract life from the planet as opposed to add life to the planet. But that's a different story for another day. But, you know, it's also, you know, a business. You can't just create these weapons, take all this money, and these weapons never get used. These are psychopathic people who are in charge, and they want to, you know, take these weapons beyond the testing fields, and they would actually like to use it on people so they can watch these videos and beat their small little dicks while they get off on the porn generated from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, another thing you got to factor in too is just like what I was doing with helping clear areas in Bosnia. Um, when you bomb a place like they're bombing, and so I mean they're throwing bombs out like, you know, somebody throws out salt during the wintertime. I mean, just throwing it everywhere with no careful guard to how they're putting this out. One thing about ordnance is there's a certain amount of it that's not going to detonate. So littered all over Gaza right now, you got unexploded ordnance all over the place. That's something that I think a lot of people don't factor in either. That somebody's going to have to go in and detonate some of these ordnance that didn't go off, or disarm the stuff that's going on. And the crazy amount that's in there, I'm pretty sure it's a hell of a lot of bombs all over the place, which are unexploded, which are sitting, you know, crashed partially through apartment buildings and stuff. So the cleanup that's going to need to be undertaken, and keep in mind also, this is something where some of the Israelis are starting to have an issue with. Shush, Yonina. Yes, I was. You're not old, but you dated yourself. Yeah, I mean, I'm older than some people think, but another thing is
my age now. You know that. You know,
no,
it's been a long.
I'm starting to look Chris's age now.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, I'm starting to look my age now. You know, people are actually guessing, you know, close to it or just about. So it is what it is. It was a good run. I'm not complaining.
But yeah, I mean, all through Bosnia and Kosovo was littered with unexploded ordnance all over the place. And the U.S. had to go in for years after it was over with to deal with that problem. Because if you don't, how can you rebuild the area? How can you even start to, you know, clean things up in the rubble and all that if you got a bunch of bombs everywhere? So that's something that you have to factor in. And another issue which Israel is having is their economy is starting to suffer, because you got all of these people conscripted right now off to the military, and they're not working. So therefore, if they're not working, and you got these areas in the north which you have to evacuate people, so you got a lot of people who are not working in Israel. And
I think most of them are okay. Look, the amount of people who left, who just clearly was like, oh, you know what, I'm getting out of here. Those lines at the airport, those pictures they provided from the airport with people leaving, and people are good. If some of those people, if they want to get out of there and go back to, you know, where they were, trust me, not everybody in Israel gave up everything to, you know, stay in Israel. Maybe some people did, but several people still have connections to the countries that they came, that they, you know, you already know. I can't say it. I got stuck. I was reading the comments to the countries that they originated from.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, there's reports coming out there about how their economy is actually starting to suffer.
Yeah, I'm sure the economy is suffering. However, I'm not saying that's.
I'm not saying it's long term that it's going to destroy everything long term, but I'm saying in the short term it is a problem.
I don't think the people there are suffering though. That's what I'm saying. Like numbers wise,
No,
it
no, no.
looks
I'm not
bad.
saying they're suffering. I'm not saying they're suffering, but if it continues for like Netanyahu's talking about, he could see this going on for a couple of years.
Look, because what if
Israel cannot withstand it going on a couple of years. They would have to have like some kind of massive tax increase to go after the billionaires in Israel to pay for the rest of the society, which starts to suffer.
Yeah, there's no movement over there in Israel complaining for like a raise in minimum wage. You know what I'm saying? There's no movement over there. So the populace there is good. They make sure they take care of that populace. Hence why they go there. You know, so
yeah, but right now with this stuff going on, it makes it harder to do those things.
Yeah, you just leave and come back whenever the shit blow over. That's what they're doing. All right, I'll be back.
True.
Let me know whenever y'all finish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When y'all finish, I'll come back.
Yeah, so I mean,
Look,
that's
when I come back, look, they'll break it down like this. Ooh, when we come back, there'll be even less of them who would want to hurt us. So it'll be even better when we get back. This is the mindset of these people. You have to be able to, remove yourself, your perspective, your opinions, your feelings from it and look at it from their side of things. I'm not saying you have to agree with it, but you just have to look how they think about it. They just waiting for that. They're probably like in their deepest, quietest conversations. They're probably like, I wish they would just push the button and just clear the whole thing. I mean, many of them have said that out loud too. So that's not anything.
Yeah.
That's not something that those whispers have been shouted. But even amongst the polite society type shit, that's what the conversation is. Like, just get it over with so we could stop.
Mm-hmm. So here I got this to share with you. I got this, and I got one
But
more
what's
clip,
up with
and
Biden?
then you want to?
Yeah, because I'm kind of
here.
tired of
We'll
talking
say
about Israel.
we're almost done. We're almost done with the Israel segment.
Yeah, because they it's kind of like rinse,
I want
wash, repeat on some
this
level, right?
peer thing, but to a degree, some of the stuff is new. Like this peer thing is a whole new wrinkle. This is something that the U.S. just finally completed that pier that they had been talking about doing. And this could make things go a couple of different ways. We just don't know.
Needed aid are rolling across a newly U.S.-built pier into Gaza. U.S. military officials say the floating pier project could mean up to 150 truckloads a day will get to the besieged Palestinian territory.
Pause.
100 truckloads that.
Didn't we just have an accident, whether intentional or not, in the state of Maryland with the bridge?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you want to focus the money where you can make the money actually do things, right? Look what the money does. It just goes to show you. Again, regardless whether that bridge that bridge incident in Maryland was intentional or unintentional, either way, you would still, even for the people who are running shit and controlling shit, not having a way to get shit over is a pain in the ass. That doesn't only just hurt working class people. It doesn't only inconvenience the lower class. It inconveniences a lot of people, quite actually, right? Because there's a relationship there between the two, right? They do. The working class depends on the upper class, clearly. So even making it more difficult to get there to provide services is not in the benefit of anybody in the class who pays people for certain services. But clearly you see what they could do right here whenever they put their minds to it. I mean, when they put their money to it, sorry. But sorry, guys. My bad, Marcus. I mean, do that, guys.
No, you're good. You're good. I was trying to see also if I can find a video, because I saw a video of the actual bridge when it was being hit. But well, I mean, we can get to that in a second. But here, we'll hop back into it.
used to enter Gaza before the war broke out last October. Imtiaz Tayyip has more from Israel.
Good morning. Well, Israeli tanks and warplanes are continuing to bombard parts of the southern Gaza city of Rafah as the Biden administration takes major steps to dramatically increase the amount of aid getting into the besieged Palestinian territory. These are the first truckloads of desperately needed supplies that have begun to enter Gaza from the U.S.-built floating pier. It works like this. Already screened aid is shipped from nearby Cyprus, transferred to a floating platform, and then loaded onto trucks. The trucks are eventually moved onto smaller ships that sail to this pier, where the aid is then finally taken to shore. This major intervention by President Biden was triggered by Israel's decision to sharply restrict food, water, and medical equipment from reaching the people of Gaza. Delivery has been further complicated by the actions of extremist Israeli settlers, who earlier this week set fire to these trucks carrying goods destined for Gaza. In all, 15 trucks were damaged, causing around $2 million.
Marcus, it's a Sunday, dog. You can't depress the people like this,
Israeli
man.
soldiers
It's a
just
Sunday
stood
going
there and
into a
watched the
Monday,
settlers
dog.
as
You
they
cannot
carried out
depress
this.
the people like this.
Don't worry. I have a positive story to end on.
This-
I have a positive
you know,
story to
this-
end on. I mean, but we
Oh,
got to,
yeah.
but also you got to keep in mind, when we talk about depressing the people, these people got to live through this. I mean, what's
I know,
worse,
that's what
us
I'm
hearing
saying,
about it,
but-
or these people living through it?
No doubt. You know, I'm quite, aware, and my fingers on the pulse of this, right? It has been for a very, very, very long time. I'm just saying, it's just crazy that they're like, yo, we're gonna send aid. This is nothing violent. And somebody would say, okay, yeah, we'll let you bring it in. You bring it in. Yeah, watch us set this shit on fire, motherfuckers. And they set the shit on fire. Again, that's psychological warfare on a different level, kid. On a whole, the level of depravity is like, I mean, what is it? Dante got however many levels of hell they say, right? That's got to be even like under that.
I mean, people got to know what we're dealing with these people. I mean, and I don't want anybody to get complacent and not think about
Marcus,
the evil that's going on from the people over there in Israel. I want it firm and concrete in their brain and vivid how evil what these people are doing.
And to tie this back to here, just to show you, like, regardless whether they are Zionist or not, there is something about a particular group within a group that's the same people who said, come down here for, come use these people for gator bait, who put shit like that on a postcard, right? The same type of nasty, I mean,
yeah, evil spirit. Yeah, that kind of spirit.
That kind of just, low
lineage
level
of evil.
Yeah, just think about that, right? Gator bait to this, they gotta be. They not gotta be. They are related. It's the same thing. Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost over. This clip is almost over, and then I got one more.
Jesus, let's move on.
One more.
Hack, said Wasim Al-Jabbar, a local official. The brutal war in Gaza has so far claimed the lives of over 35,000 Palestinians.
Which that's a lie. I'm sure it's much higher than that.
According to health officials, it's in Gaza where around 130 hostages remain in Hamas captivity. Overnight, the Israeli military announced the remains of three of them, Shani Luke, Amit Bouskila, and Itzhak Galarenter, were recovered, but did not specify where in Gaza they were found. And the fighting has been intensified.
Those fake videos of places they just finished bombing, where they know there's no There's nobody busting shots at them. They got cap guns going off in the background. They got dudes running in perfect formation. They not even firing as they running. I mean, dog. Whatever. Let me not. Because
Yeah,
like I said, man,
because this isn't a
we've
war.
been
This is
watching this
not.
shit for a long time. They use the word war. That's not the definition of a war. We all know that. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes like this topic just it feel like beating a dead horse sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we're looking at it selfishly from a perspective of we know all this stuff, but the viewers don't know. Every viewer who's watching this video is not keen to all this stuff. We can't lose track of those people out there.
That's true. I mean, yeah. I get.
I mean, it's a duty that we have just dealing with, being in this space, that we're going to have to see all of this stuff, and it can be overwhelming, but that's why we have our outlets and we talk about sports and all the other stuff every now and then to kind of break it up a little bit. But there's people who are just running across these videos and have no clue none of this stuff is happening. I mean, how many people do you think who watch CBS on a regular, maybe only watch like the morning show, barely catch 2 minutes of this while it's on, while their kids and whatever, hey daddy, where's the blah 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 blah, oh your shoes are over there, and they're running out the door. They're not really hearing most of the stuff going on.
Some of that footage looked like it could have been from like 2004, right? Or 2005 or 6 or 7 or 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying some of those shots, it's always the same little shaky camera shots, and again, let's keep in mind that the same people responsible for providing you this copy are the same people who are intimately intertwined with people in the entertainment industry. So just keep in mind, we're dealing with people who are very, very, very imaginative. They are very good at painting pictures. They're very good at telling stories. They're very good at visualizing things. They're very good at acting at things, even though they are not the most good-looking actors. They are top-notch actors in their own right in every level. And you only need to have paid attention a little bit, even just from October till now. If you paid attention over time, then they really are the ones. They create all these award shows. They really should just give the awards to themselves, because there's no better, like Denzel, he can't compare. You know what I'm saying? Terrence Howard, somebody mentioned him. He's a great actor. He don't even compare, dog. Like these guys, they try to act. These other dudes, these are top notch. Wouldn't you say, Marcus? Like 5-star, give themselves their own awards. Wouldn't you say so? Like the shit they say with a straight face and able to hold it. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Like Marcus is wearing a Pittsburgh Steelers hat right now.
No.
You're racist if you don't agree with me that he's wearing a Steelers hat. You don't like black people. You have a problem. Do you support racism? Because whenever I say that Marcus is wearing a Steelers hat, it's offensive that you would say that I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're only saying that because I'm black. Marcus, you're anti-black? Are you anti-black?
I guess apparently I might be if I try to tell you, no, it's not a Steelers hat.
Oh, okay. Or did you steal that hat?
Or in fact, I hate myself because I won't admit that it's a Steelers hat, even though it's clearly not a Steelers hat. For all who don't get the reference, this is a Jacksonville Jaguar hat, and he was making the claim of saying it's a Pittsburgh Steeler hat.
Correct. So Marcus, you're a self-hating. You're a
self-hating Steeler fan.
You're a self-hating Steelers fan, yo. What the hell is going on here?
But yeah, if y'all see this clip that I was showing y'all is just a before and an after. Just going over like the sheer.
Look at this. That looked like the
This is-
Fire Nation invaded for my Avatar fans. Doesn't it look like, you know, the Southern Air Temple or one of the water or one of them offshoot Earth Nation islands or some shit? After the Fire Nation come through and burn it, Marcus, you've watched the Avatar before, right? The cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what this looks like. Look, the Fire Nation came through.
Well, you're a Cowboys fan. You obviously hate yourself.
Yo, sorry. I can't save you with the Cowgirls. I mean the Cowboys, sorry.
I mean, man, if I knew that, man, I got some memes for you,
Look,
Rick.
if this was the real life, look, this is literally like the Firebenders came through.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. The Firebenders came through and burned the whole town down. That's one of the Airbender locations, right? Whenever the Avatar wakes up and he goes there, you're gonna be like, yo, where's all my cousins and shit? And then be like, yo, cuzzo, sorry. You know, they got rid of this long time ago.
But keep in mind, we're talking about
Marcus,
7 mile by 25 mile strip that they have been bombing day and night for 8 months. Just put that in perspective.
The Lonely Stoner sings his mind at night. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Oh, you look like you froze, but you look like you're taking like a high school picture. Yeah, you froze. Y'all see that? Oh man, y'all should screenshot that and retweet that one of Marcus. He looks like he's getting ready to pose. Like he's at a party and they're like, oh, come on, Playboy, take this pic. He like, oh shit. And we lost the audio too, Marcus?
No, I mean, can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. I didn't know if you heard me.
No, I could still hear you. I'm trying to see.
Okay, good. Well, at least the pose you got there that you frozen with is a good one. You know
It looks like it's trying to come back. There we go.
Yeah, that one
it kicked the camera out. Let's see. But this last video here, I told you I got something positive. If y'all just hold on.
Look at cousin. Yo, cousin.
I got something positive.
Look at it. He looked like, and the caption under it is like, "I'm smarter than you, bitch."
Here, I saw this story, and this story was kind of
smile on, right?
I got a positive, heartwarming story for y'all. I promise you. I promise y'all this. And after this heartwarming story, then we will talk a little bit about Terrence Howard. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. We still got to talk about the Trump and Biden. That'll definitely give us some laughs. But here's my heartwarming story. I told you, I guarantee you, I got a heartwarming story for y'all. Let's see.
You see what I'm saying, cuz? You see? He could save that. If somebody actually screenshotted that, please send it to Marcus' Twitter. You could DM it to him. You know, please, that would be a good profile picture. He looks like a nice guy.
Take on America's favorite pastime.
We won't tell people he's an asshole.
Baseball
but,
allows
he
visually
looks like a
impaired players
nice
to
guy.
get competitive. NBC4's Gordon Tigamonster joins us live in Pasadena to explain how it levels the playing field. Gordon.
Well, Michael, we were talking about baseball without the use of your eyes. It's not only possible, it's the source of great enjoyment by some women who are living with visual impairment, and we met some of them here today. The crack of the bat, the hard charge toward base, claps and cheers as the ball zooms downfield. But a closer look.
If you pull out the pin, it'll make this noise.
Or maybe a listen, and you'll see that this is baseball for the blind. If you think that sounds challenging, just ask a player. Daisy Rosales first heard about this from a friend.
And you're thinking what? It's insane.
Living with glaucoma, Daisy's never let her condition slow her down. Soccer, basketball, she's done it all. But hitting something flying at her with a bat, then running toward a beeping bass? That's a challenge, one she's meeting with gusto this morning at Pasadena's McDonald Park, because
it's so freeing. I get to run without actually bumping into any people.
More sliding into home plate is not necessary.
No, but there's definitely a lot of people who do that.
Isabel Varela is putting together what she hopes will be California's first all-women's blind baseball team. And she's not just a coach for the West Coast Echo, she's also their biggest advocate.
I think it helps them get out of their comfort zone, and that's probably the scariest part.
Scary, but also invigorating. That heart-pumping thrill that athletes in every sport just can't seem to quit.
But this is more than just a game. To the players, it's independence and joy.
Running across a field is not something you normally do.
Right. Yeah.
Kelly Walders, whose daily life usually includes her guide dog, Nugget. But today, Nugget watched from the sidelines as Kelly did something she says she hasn't done since summer camp as a little girl.
I loved it. I felt really good.
Her smile says it all. Legs pumping, determination in her heart charging through the unknown. A sense of freedom as her fellow players clap and cheer, just like any athlete on the field of play.
And that women's team, West Coast Echo, is launching its very first practice session here in Pasadena this Saturday. You can find out more about it at SoCalBeepBaseball.org. Live in Pasadena, Gordon Tokumatsu, NBC 40.
Well, there's an
See, I told y'all I had a great story for y'all. I saw this and it just like melted my heart. I was like, that is so amazing of a thing to be able to have for people who are visually impaired. And I mean, like Rick was saying, he says my aunt was blind. She would have really enjoyed this. Good for them. And I hope that we can find more things like this. And I know with the stuff that we talk about, sometimes it can be kind of depressing, but this is why I search out for these types of stories. So I can find something that, can, take the edge off of some of the stuff that we deal with. And hopefully people are taking this all. I mean, taking this the best that we can and trying to be positive about it. And hope that we can turn any frustration that we get from this into a call to action and a push in any way that we can to push back against the people who perpetrate this kind of evil in the world that we're seeing, whether that's in Gaza, whether that's in your local city, whether that's in, North Central Africa, whether that's in Asia, no matter where it is, that we try to be a voice of reason and push back against these kind of evils that we see in the world. Let's see, where is Chris at? So I figured he wanted to talk about his best friend, Mr. Trump. There we go. My camera's back.
You already know I want to talk about my guy Trump. I seen his plane. I saw his plane yesterday. He's here in town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw the plane. Yeah, I saw the plane like last couple of days. So yeah, he's here. He's chilling. I need to go by and see what's going on. I want to see if he'll give me a bag. I got a couple bills I need to pay.
Yeah, that'd be nice. If you can get one for me too.
I'm not greedy, bro. I definitely.
Hey, we'll split. Can we split the bag?
Yeah, yo, son, I'll tell you, when I'm not greedy, bro. I'm not greedy. I'm gonna die broke because I just don't care. Like, you know what I mean?
But you know that your boy, I don't know. Pull the video. Did you see your boy Trump had like a little freeze?
What you like a mental like?
Yeah, pull it up.
Where is it at? It's in
Trump was on stage and he was in the middle of a speech and just kind of I was like, oh shoot, he pulling a Mitch McConnell right now. But that's the problem with all these dudes. These dudes are too old. They're just all of them are just too damn old. But yeah, he kind of, and I was like, I don't know. I didn't have time to pull up the video. I saw it on.
Where'd you put it?
I saw it on X. No. I don't have it. I didn't. I don't have it saved in.
Okay. I got you. Hold on.
But I saw it on there, and I was like, since it was on X, I'm like, I don't know if this is legit. So let me not just share this video. Let me try to find it from a more credible source.
Yeah, because they be doing extra shit.
Well, wait a minute. I see it reported in Newsweek. With Irish Star, I've never heard of them. The Independent, The Mirror, Daily Kos.
Yeah.
Yahoo. Yeah, everybody's reporting it. Everybody's reporting it. So yeah, check that video where Trump is glitching out. You don't see it? Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Oh, maybe I need to go.
Okay.
Let me try. You see it now?
I see it too. Okay, yeah, now I see it.
All right, yeah, play that. I was like, ooh.
So his wiring is off too?
Well, according to that, maybe this is a one-off. I don't know. Maybe I was like, is he doing what they call a pregnant pause? And he's doing a little pause and thinking about something, or did he just blank for a minute on what he was going to say? But as it went on, I was like, is this edited? Did they modify this to make this seem longer? Because you got the Biden people out there who or the anti-Trumpers who could try to string this out. But no, it looked like that's what it actually was. It was legit unedited.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking it up. The search results I'm getting look kind of crazy. Like it's not. I don't know.
Let's see. Steve, that's mean. Don't be talking about that poor lady like that.
But look, here's the thing. Even video or not, if he did, I'm not surprised. You know what I'm saying? He's a little bit older. We've seen signs of his decline as well. It's not as pronounced as Biden's is, you know what I'm saying? But we have seen it. If you have watched this guy at all over since 2015 to now, that's 9 years ago. If you've been watching him for the last 9 years, you can see he too has, he already was kind of in here anyway. The age has just kind of made him kind of the Mr. Wilson type of character. But again, all of this shit is has to be for ratings because again, both of these men insult your intelligence to be considered for leader of the country, if you will. Even as a figurehead, we know the president doesn't hold much power and doesn't have much sway. It's just shit for TV. But even in the presentation of that, right? Even in that production, you would want to at least put together a quality production to make people want to pay attention to your production and to give you good reviews. But you're using the shittiest of actors for this production. And it's quite clear that they can't even remember their lines. They don't know where they're supposed to be walking. They don't remember at all.
Let's see if I can find it. No, I only see the ones where he kind of allegedly stumbled a little bit. No, that one says 10 months ago. I mean, I see articles. It's weird. I see articles, but I don't see any video. And it says it was during his NRA speech. I don't know. I don't see it. I only see the one about the podium being where he claimed the podium was wobbly. Yeah, so until we see that, more concretely, I don't want to report it and claim it as if that's a factual thing that happened. But I don't know. By tomorrow, there might be videos if that is legitimate and it's not something that's manufactured or manipulated.
Marcus, keep going. I'll be right back. Go ahead.
Okay. But I did see some Biden news about him speaking at college. That he did. That's what it was. He did commencement at he did a commencement at Morehouse College, which is a HBCU, and says the president's appearance at this historically black college in Atlanta drew some respectful but noticeable protests over the U.S. support for Israel's war in Gaza. He tried to say, "Oh yes, our hearts are all broken over what's going on in Gaza," but basically said we need to stay the course method. So not the greatest. It's not being a great outing for Biden supporters either. And yes, as Rick says, Father Time is still undefeated and looks like he's starting to amp up his damage in these later rounds. So by the time this debate comes around, if what they're saying about Trump is true and what we already know about Biden, this could be a very weird and weird debate in general. I think the fact that I honestly feel like, and I know this is against Trump's nature, but if I was Trump's advisor, I would tell Trump, I know you feel this urge to tell him off and be on the attack, but just let Biden talk. Just let him get on a little rant for a while. And he'll start off with, during your administration, you let the blah, blah, blah happen. And then I noticed my neighbors, they were Blafricans. You'd be like, what the fuck is a Blafrican? And he'd be like, and then whether you know it or not, me and Stokely Carmichael used to go fishing. But that I mean, just let Biden talk. Just let him talk. That's what I would hope. I mean, he gonna say some crazy shit like, man, I remember when I gave Mahatma Gandhi the idea to non-violently protest, and I was on a hunger strike with him, and that's when I met Mother Teresa, which when I met her, she was nobody's mother. I mean, I could see him saying just off the wall shit, where I hope Trump in the debate allows him to just talk. Give him enough rope. That's all I'm saying. But Trump feels that need to always attack. So I wonder how that debate is actually going to play out. Or it could just be both of them just yelling over each other and you hear nothing. Newsweek has a clip. Okay. All right. That's what I needed to hear. Let's see. Let's go to the Newsweek one. So, got the Newsweek article open. Let me share it on the. No, I'm not email. Put my email in there. No, you don't need that.
Marcus, I went to Chef Tally yesterday. That shit is so good. I'm sorry. Side note, I'm a foodie. I love food. I went to Chef Tally. We make jerk chicken, jerk ribs, jerk pork. Fire.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I figured. It's coming from a tweet, though. Is there an actual video that's not from somebody's tweet? Yeah, it's just talking, it looks like. And it looks like the only thing goes to this tweet. Yeah, that's what I figured. It was going to route.
There's a Mexican presidential debate. Oh, I'm sure they be going. I'm sure they be going crazy on those debates. Well, you can get mild sauce.
Yeah,
Look
he was
at
just
Liz.
kind of standing
Look at
there and
Liz.
staring.
Look at Liz with the compliments. Okay, Liz, I see you out there. She
Yeah,
gonna hear me on the phone later and be like, "You crazy, Chris."
Okay, let's put some sound. And looking at it and really analyzing this doesn't look like a glitch. This looks more like his teleprompter went out and he's waiting on them to turn it back on. That's more kind of what it looks like. It doesn't really look like a glitch. I wouldn't say a glitch. It looks like a man who is just doesn't have the teleprompter on and doesn't know what to say next. So he's like, y'all gonna fix this, or do I just need to start winging it? Just let me know. So I'll chicken wing the hell out of this if y'all want me to, but I'll wait. You gonna fix it? Fix it? That's what I see going on. I don't know. Your thoughts, Chris?
It probably is. I mean, it just could be a combination of a number of things. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know. And quite honestly, again, like I said, he's already shown flashes of his age and of his decline. You know, the repetitiveness of the things he says. You know, his stupid ties that go down to his kneecaps. You know what I'm saying? His suits that are not fitted to him, that they just look like, you know, they were his uncle's jackets. His uncle's like a little bit bigger than him, and he gets away with it. So I'm just kind of over the whole thing. However, he is still the most entertaining motherfucker in American politics, and I do welcome his return because, you know, if we're going to be stupid, we may as well turn the stupidity up to level 10. There's no point in playing on level 2 or level 3 or level 4. Like, we may as well just go, if we're going to go forward, yo, all steams ahead. Let's go with the stupid shit. Like, I'm all for the jokes. Because if you don't have a sense of humor, if you don't laugh, you're going to cry and be a depressed motherfucker. Maybe you'll become a suicide bomber. I would hope you wouldn't go to that length. But, I mean, this motherfucker is entertaining. And not so much is he entertaining anymore because his act is old. The response to him from the same people who aren't tired of responding to him from 2015 is funny to me.
Steve
it's been 9
says,
years.
He says you don't get to stay a multimillionaire by spending a ton of money on fresh suits.
That's a fact. That is a fact. You know, but at least he could get like 8 of them just tailored a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Give himself a little bit of room.
Man, it can't cost him that
likes
much
to eat.
money. It can't cost him that much to get a tailored
I
suit.
mean, isn't his wife, don't she possess those type of skills?
What are you talking about, making them?
No, I'm saying like at least, you know, the alterations.
I mean, obviously all her stuff gets fitted and alterated, so I mean
That's what I'm saying. I would think, you know, just at least a little bit, at least in the sleeves, you know what I'm saying?
maybe that's where all the money goes, because she's spending the money on getting all her shit altered.
Yeah. But you know, she don't. But then again, she doesn't care how her man look and how her husband looks anyway. You know what I'm saying?
She like, I was only with Donald for the money anyway. So
yeah, she got her people here. She is mission accomplished for her.
Yeah, so I don't think she cared at this point. She like, yeah, you can take your little dirty ass and screw all of them porn stars and prostitutes you want. I gave you a kid. I'm locked in now. I've been
Oh
here
yeah.
long enough. You can't push me out the side door now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
good. So if I walk away, I'm good either way. I'm good if I stay. I'm good if I go.
Yeah, so it'll be. I look forward to it. You know, we're less than 6 months away from the election. The next 5 months should prove to be quite interesting from a political standpoint. It'll be just more stupid shit, more, um, more more White House gibberish coming out. I won't pay much attention to it. It'll only be the things that I think are the most ignorant or funny to me. Other than that, I really don't care. However, I will just make this note. The more people I'm out and about a lot, even during the day, right? Even for work. I'm out and about at times. I'm not always just sitting behind a computer. And with that said, you have these conversations here and there at a gas station, or at the deli waiting for your sandwich, or at the spot waiting for your patty. You know what I'm saying? Or waiting in line to get gas. You hear certain comments. I can tell you, dog, ain't nobody messing with the Democrats. Nobody that I
I
come
don't know.
across.
Well, but
That
you
I
gotta
come
also
across.
look. You gotta look at where
And
you
that's
are
just
too.
me.
You gotta
Yeah,
look at
yeah,
where
but
you
I'm
are
saying
too.
correct. And around me is nothing but there's a lot of people who look like me around me too. That's why I'm making that statement, because most of the people who this is coming from look like me. This is why I'm saying that. It's not the redneck white person I'm referring to when I say that. It's a
No, I'm
lot
not
of
even
us
talking about
out
the
here
redneck.
that's like,
I'm talking about money. I'm
oh
talking
yeah,
about
yeah. I mean,
there's
yeah, but
a
besides,
lot of
I'm just
money
saying,
people around you.
even on the regular, that's what I'm saying. Even on a regular level, dudes in the store who are about to spend $200 on his lotto. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, fuck that, I need Trump back in here. We's getting money. You understand what I'm saying? For whether you agree with it or not, what I'm saying is like, before it was a lot of, oh, Trump is racist, all that other shit. Nah, there's of every stripe. Like, nah, he come back, I'm okay. I really don't care. I don't pay attention to that shit. I don't care. But you know what? If you force me to do something, then I want him. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of just very basic level thinking, very practical level thinking. That's what it is. That's what I'm seeing and hearing. And I'll be outside a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta remember during COVID, a lot of the more right wing people moved to Florida anyway. So you got a higher propensity for right wing people out there just in general already.
I'm talking about local. Son, I'm talking about local black folks, folks who've been here for years. I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm talking about
At
the
the
West
same,
Indian. I'm talking about the whole West Indian community,
yeah,
diaspora, all
but
that
at
shit.
the same,
All these black folks who've been here. I'm not
but at the
talking
same
about.
time,
I'm not talking
them
about
same
migrants.
people,
I'm not talking about
but at the same
transplants.
time, them people are not about to go out and vote for Trump either.
Yes, they are.
We'll see.
I'm telling you, they
when
are.
I hear people,
I say that with full confidence. I say that like standing up. Oh yeah, they're about to go do that. Maybe some won't, in that they be like, oh yeah, he got this anyway. But what I'm telling you, they're not about to go and like do anything to stop him or to go vote
I mean,
for anything for any of
like
his opposition. That
so
much we're
what?
gonna see. And
What
when these
percent?
numbers come out, they're gonna be quite shocking. That much will be, at least that data will
Give me a
be
percent.
very interesting
Give
to
me a
analyze.
percent. Give me a percent. What you think of just the black population? What percent?
37, 38.
Nah.
At
I
least.
think you bugging.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
We're
I
gonna
think it
see.
might be.
Well,
I think it might be
we got 5 months to see. We got 5 months to see.
because I think what you're gonna have more than anything is just a lot of black people staying home. I think
Oh, of
that's
course, that part
the
too.
bulk of what you're gonna see. But
So people like my parents, like my pops will stay home, right? He won't go vote. He's not at all thrilled. My pop's a longtime Democrat. He's not thrilled with anything Democrat related, but he for sure 1000% will never go and vote for Trump at all. And I know a lot of people like that too. So there's going to be a decline in votes for Democrats, which always leads to a Republican victory. However, the black people who do vote in support of Trump, I bet you it will be higher than it was previously, and it won't be.
I don't dispute,
and it won't be
that.
marginal, and it won't be marginal.
I don't dispute that it's going to be a higher percentage, and that higher percentage it's going to go up just because of the fact of how many people don't vote for Biden. The numbers are going to be higher. Now, does that
it won't be
mean
higher?
that
It will just be less for Biden. It won't be higher necessarily.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it won't necessarily be on literal numbers of a lot more people, but percentage will go up just because of how many won't vote for Biden. I mean, what did Biden get? What did Trump get last time? Something like roughly 10% or something, 12% or something like that. I think he might be somewhere around 18, 19%. Which that would be doubling his numbers. I mean, if even let's say he could hit 20%, and that's only because of the way that the reallocation of the numbers would go because of how many don't vote for the Democrats. But I have a hard time seeing almost 40% going to Trump. And
okay, so let me see.
We'll see.
Let me see.
We were asked, isn't Miami Democrat? Yes and no. You have Miami would be purple. You got a bunch of blue people there, but you got a whole lot of people who are red. You got a lot of Cubanos who are very right wing.
So Miami is the ones, like the Hispanic population in Miami is kind of split, from the most conservative as it gets to, super leftist on some cases. But a lot of them, but again, it also really depends on their financial status. You know what I'm saying? With the Cubans, they're going to be red whether they're poor.
Cuban and a lot of Venezuelans.
Or they got money. Venezuelans usually, when they come here, they're not of the lower socioeconomic class. When they come to Miami, most of the Venezuelans and Colombians that come here, for the most part, especially recently, they are higher on the socioeconomic level. They usually have properties elsewhere. They live. Because they don't come here and go to like the hood or the barrio or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying?
It's the Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Dominicans. Those are the ones who are going to be more to the left.
Yeah, the rest of them, they live in the nice places. You know what I'm saying? They live in penthouses, or right below that, they live in the nicer places near Aventura Mall and shit like that. They got money. They have multiple.
Even within like the Cubans and the Venezuelans and the Colombians, it even breaks down a lot of times even on race. The ones who are mestizo or more closer to white than the ones who are darker. I mean, notice a split there too.
Yeah, very similar. It's very similar here. Throughout this hemisphere, it's kind of like the same shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not really different. There's certain degrees of things depending on, the country in which, depending on the country we're speaking of. You know what I mean? It can move from one extreme to the other, but it's all basically within the same sandbox, if you will,
Because I like how I
there's not
used
a
to
whole lot of-
describe it. Like how I used to describe it is you had like basically you had three types of Cuban as far as political voting. You had the ones who were the Batista supporter, the ultra capitalist, kind of a little on the racist side to a whole lot on the racist side, to the Castro types who are the more authoritarian, kind of a little bit middle centrist y, to the Che Guevara all the way to the left side.
Yeah, but there's only like 14 people in that group, right? So there's not even
No. The younger, there's more than that. There's a lot more than that.
Okay, there's maybe 25, right? But it's not. It's
Come on,
it's
bro.
not that
For real.
No, it's not. Because look, if you down with Che, that means you down with building some type of armed resistance. That doesn't mean just put your nose in a book and actually try to. That doesn't mean like you just study theory like. These guys like Chris Richards and them do over here, like theory. You know what I mean? Like there is
But it still is a lot of them, especially
There's
in the
action
younger
involved
group, in the younger demographics.
Well, whenever I see them, I'll reserve judgment until I see them picking up arms because that if you are going to be
They're
down,
not going to pick up arms. That's all cap. They're not
But
doing
that's what
all
I'm
that.
saying. Like
They're
but
cosplaying
here's
it.
the thing. Yeah, if you're gonna honor Che and be in the spirit of Che, remember, not only was he physically and militarily active in Cuba, he went all the way across to the other side of. He went to the other hemisphere and was involved in armed conflict there as well. So I'm just saying, like he was about that action in addition to the education. So I don't really want to use that name loosely. I'm not saying he's the greatest person or the worst person. I'm just saying he was about his action.
Well, Chamonix, she was talking about the Venezuelans. Well, the thing is, out of the Venezuelans who come to South Florida in particular, the ones who are political tend to be to the right. And those the ones who are kind of more on the poor side, they don't even care about voting, a lot of them.
Yeah, correct. So like what you see in New York with the Venezuelans, that's a different class of they say that Doral, that's what I'm saying. Chavista, correct. So Doral, you'll see them all in that area too. All near Aventura. Look, I mean, sorry, ladies, but men, if you love Spanish women, you go to Aventura Mall. You just walk in that place. Lord, I mean, you will say well, first you will have to thank the good doctors because the doctors deserve a round of applause because you will not see more surgical work. Oh my God, you go to Aventura. Oh my God,
and that's all of them. That's all races now when you get down to South Florida.
Yes, but in that area because they all got money. So you see like 63-year-old women with these fat asses, big tits, and their stomachs is flat. And it's like, yo, shorty, come on, you passed this stage in life. How you look like this? You're not an actress. You're not a porn star. Like you just regular Consuela or some shit like that with your family and all that other shit. So what I'm saying is if you want to go there and look, aesthetically, sometimes they catch you. The long dark hair, the bodies is like really cut perfectly. Yes, it's going to catch your eye. You're going to be like, God damn, look at that. Right? You're going to lose your head for like 5 seconds. You're going to disappear into that room inside your head. You'll emerge after a few seconds and, you'll just keep it pushing. However, it's crazy. The reason why I mention this is that they have the money to do this. Are there any Korean?
I don't remember seeing a lot. Well, I don't live down there, but
no, there are.
I mean, there's everything. There's everybody down there. I mean, so I want to say I think I ran across more Japanese than Korean down there.
That's why, like, even when I'm with like the kids I coach, or my son, we're out and about, and we see these women. You know what I mean? I'm always like, look, that's the doctor's work. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, Dr. Body.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the Brazilians. Didn't even talk about the Brazilians down there. That's a big.
Oh yeah, they've been
voting
doing
line,
that.
too.
The Brazilians are, when it comes to South American culture, the Brazilians are the most vain. Their vanity is on a level
No, I
that
was talking
doesn't
about
even
as far
make
as
sense.
voting, not that part. But yeah,
Oh,
that's of course
sorry.
that they lead it. They when it comes to the surgers and all that, it's Brazilians first and Colombians number 2.
Venezuelans too. It's like maybe by percentage, Colombians by volume, but Venezuelans by percentage. They probably number 1.
Really, it's gotten that
Oh,
bad, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't make me do.
I mean, there's Asians definitely in Miami.
Hmm.
It's not it's not like the West Coast, definitely. Not like the Bay Area. I honestly, I think only place that rivals the Bay Area is New York.
He said Brazilians super hot though. Hey, look, to each their own, you know what I'm saying? Whatever floats your boat, you know what I mean? Like
Chris H says, I'm realizing about communism that it's not as many dogmatic as we think. It is some communists that love Che's work might not think Che's strategy will work for today's communists or attentive to societal trends. Here's the little dirty little secret. Here's what most people don't get who start talking about communism. Communism works on a small scale. Once you start trying to scale it up, it inherently falls apart, because in order for you to have a governmental system, you have to have leaders. Leaders are going to afford some kind of a different office and protections and things that come with being a leader and meeting with other leaders and private jets and all that stuff. The moment you start doing that, that's not communism. The moment you start doing that, it's not communism, because then you get rid of the everybody being on an equal footing. How can you have any kind of leaders where the leaders are inherently going to make decisions for everybody, and it's not going to come down to this mass consensus? And I don't think a lot of people who talk about that all the time really sit there and actually think about that on a large scale. All these governments which were called communists, most of them were just authoritarian governments or dictators. They were not actual communists. And then you factor in a country like China. China is just authoritarian capitalism. It is not actually even communism. There's no actual real communist nation out there. The most you can have is you can have a form of like democratic socialism. That's probably as far as you actually can get. A heavy, strong safety net, but it's still forms of capitalism, because in this modern world, I don't see how you build a society with hundreds of millions of people. And you don't even say hundreds of million people. You can just say millions of people that you can be able to govern properly with everybody being equal. That doesn't make any it doesn't work. It just but I know that'll piss off some people who call themselves communists.
They can't even get it to work here in the state with just several 100,000 people, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it works on a very small scale, because then you can be able to have, like, for instance, like a co-op. A co-op works like communism. It works on a small scale because everybody can have an equal voice and input in and have their vote and this and that and make the system work. But the moment that you have to appoint a leader and it starts expanding out, it becomes something different.
When you're gonna put too many chiefs in the, too many chiefs.
I know I'll tick off a whole lot of people who read theory and stuff like that. But here's the difference between some of those people who read theory. I did go to college for political science. I understand what these definitions truly mean, and have done the history on studying the governments which have tried to implement them, and why some people call certain things communism, which are not communism.
He said he's more into the Asian persuasion. I ain't mad at you. We all have
I know
We
you
all
definitely
have
got a
our,
lot of Filipino
our tastes.
you got a lot of Filipino in Florida, definitely.
In New York too.
And I ran into a good chunk in like Chicago area.
Yes,
And
there's
honestly,
there's a nice
it
size
has to do
population.
with military. It has to do a lot with the military too.
Yes.
That's something I'll throw in.
Mhm.
I mean, because when you had like the Philippines becoming a commonwealth, a lot of those Filipino communities came to the military by way of the military, primarily the Navy and Army in particular. And so places where there's Army and Navy bases, you tend to have budding Filipino communities.
Yeah.
And actually, Rick, I heard that I think there's a part of Texas where I think it's Dallas that has the highest Japanese population in the country.
That's
That's what I was
interesting,
saying.
man.
Well, Texas has like the
Mark,
highest amount of tigers too, or Texas in general has the highest amount of tigers of any place in the world. Weirdly enough, but yeah, that's all I got. I'm just BSing at this point.
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Do you have any other things that you wanted to get to touch on?
No, I mean, I think we hit a lot of the topics I wanted to hit yesterday, and I mean, we sped through a lot of them, a lot of the topics, but I think we're pretty solid on what I want to get into. Planning for the last week of June. That's what I'm shooting for to come out that way. So that is the plan. I don't know, but
Hey, audience, would you guys support like maybe like a 30-minute to a half an hour like nightly like program? Like nothing too long, maybe just a few topics, maybe like the day's recap or something like that, or like midweek. Just curious, because I don't know, I don't know what you guys' watching habits are, during the week. Usually we come to you on the weekend when I would assume that most of you are not working and just chilling and relaxing. But again, I was just curious. Nothing like what we do on Saturday where it's like 3 hours every night. Like, no, I would not.
no, definitely
I would
couldn't.
not.
I wouldn't get home until what? I wouldn't even be able to set up until what, like 9 o'clock your time, earliest, maybe 9:30, and then that's if I got off work in time. So it'd be starting to show at like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Okay, well, let's ask why we have them here.
Now,
So,
but if I
hold on,
came
Marcus,
in
let me ask, like, what time?
if I was off camera and didn't have to set up everything, that's a little different.
Yeah, so what times, because I'm trying to figure out what time zone most of the audience is in, right? Whether they're Central,
Yeah,
Eastern, like
that's a good
is
question.
9 p.m. So
Everybody
is
put your
9
time
p.m.
zones in. Everybody put your time zones in the chat.
is 9 p.m. Eastern time on a Monday through Friday, anytime like that? Like, what does that look like for most people? Got you, Chris. I hear you. Because sometimes I think about, jumping on, more frequently, but then at the same time, it's, when I look to see, what else is going on, there's, several people in the space kind of doing the same thing. So I don't want it to really be overkill, but then sometimes I feel like, the way we say things, the way we look at it, the way we attack it, whether you like it or not, I just feel we're slightly different than most. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, because Marcus and I are also part of the working class, that we work every day, as opposed to some of our contemporaries. And again, it's not a knock on anybody. They seem to be able to vote 509 Eastern is good. With some of our contemporaries seem to be doing this full time. They collect a little bit of money, or they have the finances to do, a lot more frequently, and to specify a certain amount of time to allocate a certain amount of time to this. You know what I'm saying? I work a lot. I coach a team. So, if I would, if I do, obviously it wouldn't be something that I would be able to do like 90 minutes, 2 hours. Really, it would be
No, I
30,
mean maybe
45
like
minutes.
30 to
Yeah.
40 minutes max.
Yeah,
And
30,
we
40
can even put a timer like, yo, sorry y'all, this is the cutoff. No
Yeah,
more than this. Like 30, a sweet spot, 35 minutes max.
Yeah, that'll be good. Like we just jump into whatever, we have, and then, that's it. Maybe the following day we'll do something different, et cetera, et cetera. But,
I
that
mean, it
was
would
something.
help
And
the
even
algorithm too. It would help the show grow, but because
correct,
the algorithm feeds on how much content you put out, and
correct. And then,
since we only go
we
once a
don't
week,
have
it
to
does
do,
count against us.
yeah, and then, we don't have to do all of the heavy duty shit every single night. But, as things, arise, we can, because we're good at tackling all these subjects anyway, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? But he said, "Oh, you fellas don't be calling everything woke and identity politics. Can't stand that mess from." Yeah,
I can't stand both sides really on that stuff.
Yeah, the culture war is entertaining every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? It's not. We don't want no minute matrix. Trez is stupid, man. I swear. Trez like the dude in the show who just pops up and just says funny shit.
He's our
and his
comedy
face-
relief, most definitely.
And his face never changes. He just says the funniest shit with the straightest face. You know what I'm saying? He'll be like, your breath smells like 10 miles of get back.
Yeah, dude, dissonance is hard to listen to sometimes with how they are as far as though I'm like anti woke, and honestly, I'm gonna just call it how I see it. When you got a lot of these white people in the spaces, they see shit from a white person's viewpoint, and that's all it comes to. They don't experience what we experience, so to them, oh, it's just the blacks complaining.
You know what's funny today during the Knicks game? They have all the celebrities there, right? And they have John McEnroe there, and they're showing John McEnroe and all that other shit. And I look at my son, I say to him, "Yo, that's John McEnroe. He was a famous tennis player, right?" And I said, "You know what's funny? If Serena acted even like a portion of John McEnroe, her career would not have probably taken off the way it did." I think of coaches, and I think of Bobby Knight and all this other shit. Their behavior, the way that they carried themselves, the way that they did, and then to see the reaction to what's that lady, the Congress chick woman name who we covered last night, Marcus? What was her name again?
Jasmine Crockett.
Yes. Just that little comment she made, what she called a bad body. I just like saying that shit.
Bleached blonde, bad body, butch. What was it? Bad butch body built or something?
Yeah, something like that. I did like that. She was do. I did like that. But even look, they heard that one little phrase and they carried themselves all crazy talking about all wild shit. Meanwhile, we've had figures like a John McEnroe and Bobby Knight in their respective fields, and everybody respects those guys as, hard nosed, da da da. But when it comes to us being emotional over shit that's not going our way, it's just a problem. But that'll be shit that we'll get into later. But anyway, we're almost 3 hours in.
Yeah, I remember responding to what Chris H says, yo, Russell Dobler from Due Dissidence is aggravating as fuck. This fool once said that the UK was importing American race problems with BLM. Their coverage as far as like BLM and the race stuff, I mean, they follow, and this is for those who love Norm Finkelstein, this is one of his weak points where he's bad on that subject also. And I don't know what it is about certain groups of white people how they have these blinders when it comes to race issues, and they think, oh no, yeah, we just waited all of a sudden for the George Floyd thing. Now there's race issues. We're not experiencing this shit in our regular day, not at all. I mean, literally every black male in particular that I know of can give you some racist ass stories that they experience firsthand. But to all these white cosplayers, they think this shit is all just made up. And this comes, the Jimmy Dores fall into that. This comes from that hive mind think that a lot of them are pushing from like a libertarian angle.
They don't interact with black folks until there's a sad story to tell. Until it's like, oh my God, they killed somebody. Oh my God, they did this. Oh my God, they did this. Then they want to go and they don't even just talk to regular black folks on the regular. They don't fucking check in. They don't check in to see what's going on in the neighborhood on a regular day. It's only when some kind of extreme event is going on. Then it's like, oh my God, you want to talk about black issues and shit like that. But they don't check in. You know what I mean? No. But they sure do tap in whenever they need to, right? They do need to take what they do take what they need to do to build up their platform. You know, because Russell visited a Louisiana museum showcasing how institutional racism does exist. That's cool that he went to a museum. He could have just listened to any number of us who are alive. He didn't need a museum. And that doesn't mean us. You know, there's much older people, more accredited people, more legitimate people who have been saying this. So, you know, again, you needed to go to a museum to learn this. It just goes to show how disconnected you really are from the culture in every way. That you just couldn't go like, yo, son, really? Yo, tell me about this shit. This shit crazy, dog. Is it really? Like, what's it like, son? You know what I'm saying? But you can't do that.
Yeah, I just kind of gotten to the point.
You're so separated.
I've gotten to the point of like pretty much most of these white content creators just expecting that when it comes to black issues, they're going to be bad on it. Any of these people I watch, I just already keep that in mind. They're going to all be terrible on race, especially dealing with black people. Kim Iverson's another one. Fucking horrible. And all she does is look for it. Whatever black conservative I can get to reconfirm my racist viewpoints towards black people. I watch a lot of them do it. A lot of them do it.
Here's the thing.
It comes with the package.
There's levels to it, right? There's levels to the shit, right? If something is being done negative, if something bad happens to a black person, and they can kind of put it in the camp conservative Republican, then it's, oh, look. Again, Kathy Hochul says, I don't think you niggas know what a computer is. You hear that, Marcus? Marcus, I can hear your heartbeat. I can hear your heartbeat. I just heard your thoughts. I can hear the ants burrowing in through the floor. Shit. I can hear your thoughts, my G.
I don't even need you to say nothing.
Oh, I feel you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Let me just hop in and speak for you. Like, what was that one goofy ass dude that been going around?
1 trillion% to the trillionth power.
Oh, hell yeah. Because I don't meet a black person who don't have to interact in the white community to some degree. Every black person has to deal with white people, has to deal with sometimes all white areas. But a good chunk of white people do not at all engage in black spaces.
Nope.
So we have to know our world and your world and other people's world, but you don't have to know ours.
Nope. At all. Again, you know, I'm a working man. You know what I'm saying? I've been working a lot, you know, my whole life. You know what I'm saying? There's no outside of the people they interact with within the workspace. Once they leave that workspace, there's no other people like me or anything like this in their circle. unless their kids are maybe into sports and they have to interact on that level. But their personal circles, very few, very, very few. It's one or two people. They don't ever go to the neighborhood. The events are all in their neighborhoods. Very few of them. You know, obviously, if they're on a higher socioeconomic level, then it's okay because that neighborhood is largely looks like the majority. But other than that, when it comes to like middle class, lower class, and shit like that, nah, we don't.
Well, and Chris, that
But we
adds
know
into
all about
another-
that.
That adds into another point. The fact that we do have to engage in white community. We meet white people that are cool. We meet white people that are just flat dickheads. We meet white people that are outright racist. We run the gamut. We meet them all. Whereas some of these people, the one black guy that they meet, he hasn't never experienced anything. Well, that's what he tells you. He don't tell you the shit because he understands things can get awkward if I start telling them what my lived experience is really like. So all black people don't necessarily tell you everything that fucking goes on. We wait till we get around another black dude, and then we talk about what, man, you believe what this fucking racist ass motherfucker just did? And they're like, yeah, man, he did that shit to me on Tuesday. And y'all don't hear these conversations. For one, y'all don't ask to hear them either.
Yo, you know what? Y'all would be so jealous of our telepathy. Like we like mutants for real, because when I tell you, it just be something as yeah, I just said everything and he caught everything. When we see certain things, Ladarius, I'll tell you the same thing. Chris, why aren't more of them like you?
Yep.
More of who? More of who?
You're so well spoken.
Jesus. My favorite is when they meet my sons. Oh, your sons are so well behaved. They're oh my God, they stood up and they shook hands and they asked me how I was doing and they looked me in my eye. And they'd be like, yo, first of all, it's the 21st century. Secondly, do you even realize what you're saying? Do you say this to your other contemporaries? Do you say, yo, you know what? Your kid is rude because when you brought him in here, I said hello to your child and your child didn't even acknowledge me. Your child walked right by me, right? Now, if I was to say that, you know, there's something wrong with that because these motherfuckers be bringing their kids in, you know,
This
the
is,
little kids.
this is who they run it. This is the ones who ask. They ask the Richie Torres. That's the ones who they talk to. That's the ones who they're fine with. Oh, I mean, of course our people are just lazy. I mean, that's what they do. That's the kind of people that they find the tokens who just want to hold on to their little piece of whatever they got. So they're gonna shut up and just take whatever.
Look, a baby or a 2 or 3 year old or 4 year old wanting to tuck his face into his mama's arm or clench their daddy's hand and move behind their dad and shit like that. Cool. But when we talking about 7, 8, 9 years old, your child should have the wherewithal when they see an adult saying hello and it's at work. We're not talking about people, strangers in the train station. We're talking about we're at work. And somebody says, hey, little one. And then the kid just walks right by you, don't even look at you. Yo, I'm looking at the parent like, But then you saying to me, oh my, your kid is so respectful. If I responded and yours isn't and you should do something, you know, obviously now the room gets quiet or it gets funny money. But you know,
I'll have white people who I'll have white people who will be cool with me and chit chat with me and then just casually throw out some racist shit. You'd be like, did you really just say that to me? A guy I used to play flag football with. He was telling me this story and he was like, oh yeah, man, I was running so fast. And my brother was like, man, you were running so fast, it's like you had niggers in your legs. I was like, what? See? You just thought a comment and they'll just throw random comments out like that to you and don't even think anything about it. And this is not a one-off. I could talk a whole show about racist shit that I experienced.
Just clue. You know what? I don't even know if it's
blatant and not so blatant.
I was going to say there's some level of racism there, but then also on the flip side of that, there's just total ignorance there. Like, just really, they don't have a dislike of Black people. They're just so in their own world that they don't even realize sometimes what they're saying, because some of these people are nice people, right? Some of these people you can call and say, hey, my car broke down. Would you come? And they would actually come and help you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to attach that they're all evil. You know, the conversation requires a certain level of nuance that I don't know that everybody is ready to do, because a lot of people really want to make, you know, everybody want to just set their camp and draw their lines and that's it. Maybe he messed up the Negro jokes. Yeah, there's a bunch of those too. You know what I'm saying?
I like perfect. Remember, old girl that got shot in her apartment and her boyfriend pulled the gun.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Shorty in St. Louis. Shorty in St. Louis.
It was a good chunk of guys I work with. All of them was like, well, he should have done this and he should have done that. And then when you flip that on them and say, yo, somebody kicking your door at 3 a.m, you got your gun next to you. What is your first reaction? Oh, I'm going to grab my gun. Oh, but for you, the white guy, that's a normal and okay reaction. But the Black guy, it's a problem if he does the exact same thing. And they don't even, it's complete cognitive dissonance. They don't even see that they're putting separate rules and separate expectations and standards on the white guy versus the Black guy. Plenty of them operate like that. They don't even see what they're doing.
There are things that become racial that don't need to be racial. Trayvon Martin comes to mind first. There's nothing racial about Trayvon Martin to me. It's a matter of some adult was messing with some kid because he never seen the kid in that neighborhood before, and he ended up assaulting that kid and killing that kid. And people, you know, they want to boil it down to race, and I understand why you want to boil it down to race, because clearly you only did that because he looked like us. You dig? However, for the people discussing the matter, you get too caught up on race. It just fucked up what happened, B. And just because it does involve people this shade, you all of a sudden have the Israel problem, the Zionist problem, as to where now you're confused. You can't see things straight. Now you have all of these questions and what happened before, and we didn't see the video, and I have more questions and what was you have all these stupid barriers up. But you know,
the assumption that because you're a Black guy, you're not going to understand this.
Yeah,
I mean, of course you don't understand the Israel-Palestine stuff. I mean, we can go on and on. I mean, we're at the 3-hour mark, so I ain't gonna keep going. But
yeah,
man, it's stuff that I could tell y'all stories of when our bricks were getting thrown at our bus from white racist parents. They were out in the crowd, you know, at our basketball game. I remember being like 12, and they're like, "You better not let those niggers beat you." Like, I could go like blatant racist stories that plenty of them I've experienced, and I'm not unique. I am not unique. Like, and I gotta tell this story because my cousin in the chat. I remember once me and him were having a discussion, and I was like, "Come on, Ladarius. I mean, what percentage of white people do you really think are racist?" And he was like, I don't know, maybe 60, 70, 75%. I was like, come on, bro. You can't be serious that it's that high. Because I'm like, okay, maybe 25, 30%. That's what I'm saying. But as I spent more time, what it is some are blatant, some are just, they don't even see that they're doing it, and some are subtle. But his number is 60%. I can't even say, like before, I was like, that's asinine. But now I gotta take all that back and apologize to my cousin, because I'm like, actually, you was right, little cuz. I try to put it off on, oh, well, maybe it's because of the time when you were living in Louisiana, maybe Louisiana and Texas down there, it's a little bit more racist. But no, he's right. And it doesn't matter if you go to New York, you go to California, you go to Florida, it don't matter. The whole entire U.S. is the same way. And then you even notice it outside of the U.S. So that's what I'll say on that.
Mm-hmm. Here goes, says the fact it doesn't register to them when they're being racist is even a privilege. Or even like, here's the thing. You say something like that, right? Here's the problem. Herein lies the problem. You don't want the response. Because you say some dumb shit to me. If I respond to you, same energy, same even keel, not loud and crazy and if I just respond to you with the same energy, you're now bothered. If this takes place in the workspace, then you go complain. I'm not the complainer. I'm not running to HR for shit. When they come at, did something happen? I don't know. I have my headphones in. I was listening to my music. I'm at work. I don't know nothing. So that therein lies the problem for me, is that you like to you like to say certain shit, and it's cool, but then you should be able to, if we're gonna do this dance, then you should be able to dance. You know what I'm saying? So
well, and I would say it's and situations happen where the treatment will be different. You're not saying anything. You're taking it. You'll say, hey, what you did was kind of unfair. And they're like, what are you talking about? And okay, no big deal. And then when it keeps happening and then you finally blow up, everybody looks at you as like the biggest, worst villain ever, when all y'all know the fucked up shit that y'all been doing all this time.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I recanted, so I've seen this all before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reincarnated. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But look, it's almost 10.
But yeah, we'll close it out. Yeah, but we're gonna work on getting something going during the week. I mean, I think I see that there's definitely enough people who would be interested in that, and so that's something we're gonna work on. 35 minutes is cut off.
Yeah,
that's the max we can do. But yeah, we can work on something, and maybe and it might even be just boom, this one story we saw, and we're gonna hit up this story. It's gonna be a simple thing. I'll be like, yo, weekly
Marcus, what's ironic,
and just put it in the title. What we're going to put, the subject will be in the title.
Good. Here's I just want to say this too, to address Michael's comment before we get out of here, right? And this is something you could think on for the next show. You could follow up with us. We will flesh this out a little bit further, right? He says, but you like to say anti-communist things, so we're already at odds a bit. The one thing with the communists, one thing with the libertarians and all these other people, you always leave out the racial component. Every single time. Every time. And it just makes things quite uncomfortable, not so much for us because this is skin we live in. It makes things uncomfortable for you, and you don't actually know how to have, and not you personally, just in general. You're not ready to have those types of conversations because, when we get to saying the shit that we say, you don't really like to hear it. And I'm not one who wants to complain about, the minor things. I want to talk about the more important, crucial, critical things. So, you see what I'm saying? Look, he says, you see, you prove my point.
I'm like, whoever did that. Whoever lumped communists with libertarians.
Look, Marcus, what was the point I just said? And then sure enough, bow! It never fails. This is the society that we live in. And you cannot imagine it away. You cannot pretend it away. You cannot say, well, if everything was equal, if these economic metrics hit, then society would go this way. Nah, son, it ain't been working like that. He says conflation files make it hard to get to the root thing. I just said so. You prove my point. But anyway, Marcus, let's get out of here. We go touch back on this later. But to everybody who came through, we appreciate it. Even you too, Michael. That's not beef. I'm just saying it's just something,
Mikhail.
Mikhail, just something to ponder. You know what I'm saying? But to everybody who came through, we appreciate y'all coming through. It was a Sunday. Y'all ain't have to kick it with us, but y'all did. Pardon me for being late. My Knicks let me down, but I'm hopeful.
Your Knicks got nicked.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, man. But everybody enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. We out of here, man.
All right. Much love to y'all. Much appreciation. Y'all have a great week.
Peace.
Boy, I'm about to hit the wrong button. I got to